fans, and welcome to Podium Esports coverage of the elimination race in the round of 8 for the 2021 Midwest Sim Racing Association Premier Series playoffs. Tonight we bring you coverage of the Canterbury RV 125, live from iRacing's virtual Martinsville Speedway in Ridgeway, Virginia. I'm your host, Joshua Lee. Alongside me in the commentary booth tonight is Terry Radford and Briar LaPrade, with our producer tonight, Ryan Bauer, using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Terry, we come to a track that is historic in NASCAR, a fan favorite all around in any car that goes here. We're in for exciting racing, especially with it being the cutoff race in the round of 8.
Short track racing at Martinsville. You can't get no better than that. And throw on top of it elimination. This is it. This is what's going to settle it. Who can stop Boyd Hogan tonight? Last time we came to a short track was Bristol. Logan Helton pulled off the victory. Tonight, Boyd's been the fastest in practice. I'm ready. My boys at Martin Sports made sure I was ready with the I Love Short Track Racing shirt. I'm down. I'm super excited for this show. And Josh, I get to work with you again.
And Briar, we're going to a track for elimination that is a lot of a wild card. Of course, short tracks always provide exciting action, a lot of beating and banging. As a driver going into Martinsville, what are you worried about? What is your anxiety sort of saying when you're going to a racetrack like this?
Definitely just avoiding the chaos. Chaos is all over the place here at Martinsville. It's sort of like the Roval. The Roval was another elimination race that we had. And there was a lot of chaos that happened. The cut line was changing around a lot, and it's gonna be the same thing here at Martinsville. It's gonna be a lot of chaos, a lot of wrecks. Keep the car clean and keep it in one piece and hit your marks, and that's gonna be the goal of the race.
When the checkered flag falls today, we're going to take 4 drivers and advance them over into the Championship 4 in Phoenix. You take a look at exactly how we got to this point, and it was a lot of racing, and it was a lot of wins for Boyd Hogan. He comes into tonight's race with a win streak of 5. He has won every single race since the Las Vegas Motor Speedway in the last round of the playoffs, and Boyd Hogan is locked into Phoenix for the championship. Now, Ralph Hutchison has an opportunity to lock himself in after this race, and we'll see what the drivers who are underneath the cut line can do. Terry, we already know you got the shirt on. You love short tracks. Talk about the Martinsville Speedway. What particularly about this track has got you all giddy like a schoolgirl?
Well, you're banked at 12 degrees and the straights are flat. You come into the corner, the length is only half a mile. It's half a mile here. There's so much that can happen, beating and banging, tearing stuff up. It's going to be an entertaining ride.
And we're going to have that ride for 250 laps tonight. Stage 1, 65 laps. Stage 2, and another 65. And then we'll run from lap 130 to lap 250, 120 laps, to the finish of tonight's race. Time to take a look at how the drivers are going to line up here in the MSRA Premier Series from the virtual Martinsville Speedway in the Canterbury RV 125. And Boyd Hogan, best of the rest. He qualifies on the pole once again with Clayton Hoffman sitting to his outside. Chris Severa, Joseph McWhorter going to share the second row, and Ralph Hutchison, Jacob Shorba on row 3, Terry.
Here you got John Mullins, David Centini, Vincent Arthur, Matthew Long, Brandon Davis, and Steven Davis rounding out row 6.
Row 7, you got John Theodore and Logan Helton. Logan Helton with a poor qualifying effort there. Hopefully, being below the cut line, he can get through the field quick, and rounding out the field, you have Ryan Strunk.
So we're ready to go racing for 250 laps tonight. Relatively cool afternoon here in virtual Martinsville as we cross over into about afternoon, about 2:30 sim time currently. 66 degrees on the air temp, 77 on the track temp. So they'll get a little bit of help in the grip department, but not a whole lot as the field will get ready to roll off. Boyd Hogan on the pole. He is locked into the playoffs, but just another pole position for him this season, going for win number 17 here tonight from virtual Martinsville. But I think, Terry, the big thing coming out of qualifying is Logan Helton, qualifying P14. He comes into this race 24 points below the cut line. This is not what Logan Helton wanted or needed to start here tonight in the elimination round of the playoffs.
This is a terrible way to start it. I mean, he's starting deep in the field, and everybody knows Martinsville's hard to pass. You have to get a good entry into the corner, and you also have to roll the center. I'm sure Breyer could talk about it. When you come off these corners, it's very tight. You come up there, you're going to beat and bang with somebody to your outside or your inside. He's got a lot of ground to make up, but like I said, he is the last short track winner at the Bristol Motor Speedway. So coming into Martinsville, he's just got to pump the brakes, literally and physically, just to know he's got to get to the front to beat Boyd Hogan.
Hutton was the winner, of course, the last time he went to a short track. You're right about that, Terry, at Bristol. And when we go back to short tracks, if you remember back to the Richmond Raceway, Joseph McWhorter was able to get the win there. He's also looking for a win tonight, 39 points below the cut line. Now the pace car will stay out on the racetrack 2 laps around the Martinsville Speedway before we get back, or before we take the green flag for the first time tonight. 5 sets of tires sit these drivers in the pits, and of course no fast repairs, so all repairs will have to be made slowly on pit road. Field works their way out of turn number 2 at the paper clip. That is Martinsville Speedway. Pit exit right there off of turn number 2. Pit entry on the entry into turn number 3. The iRacing pace car will make its way into the safety of pit lane. 15 drivers ready to go racing. We're going to find out the 4 that will race for the championship in 1 week's time from Phoenix. It's short track Saturday night virtually in iRacing. Let's go racing! Round of 8 elimination for the Premier Series.
Look at the start that Boyd had right there, the outside, the 12, trying to get a run, trying to roll the corner, but couldn't make it stick all the way. He's going to drag him all the way down the back straightaway, going into 3. And for a driver, that's your worst nightmare, to have a driver on your outside on lap 1.
Hogan's gonna make quick work of that though. Goes right on by Hoffman, able to grab that lead now by about a half car length. Severa, McWhorter side by side for P3 right now as we go on board with the 32. Trying to pull around the outside of Chris Severa and Breyer, trying to make that outside line work at Martinsville. It sometimes can work, and we're seeing it work a little bit for McWhorter, but it's definitely not the place you'd want to be at a track like this.
Yeah, definitely not the place you want to be. McWhorter holding strong on the outside there with his VR headset. Little setup he's got. Best thing to do when you're on the outside of Martinsville is going to be to pinch your driver on the inside and try and get the run off, but you want to get too crazy. We got 250 long laps here, only working lap 4 as we speak, but McWhorter still holding strong on the outside coming out turn number 2.
On board is Jacob Shorba, who's watching everything go on in front of him. Another driver underneath the cut line is Shorba. Comes in, must-win situation, 45 below the cut line. We can already see as points start to update after we take the green flag here. Terry Logan Helton has been able to go anywhere, 36 below the cut line. He is the definition right now of a must-win situation for the 63.
And it doesn't help him at all that the 12 car of Clayton Hoffman, he's in P2. He's right on the back bumper of Boyd Hogan. But I would ask Breyer, if you're in a must-win situation here and you're all the way back in the field, do you need to go up there and really make headway this early, or can you play some strategy to hopefully flip the field position?
No, definitely not. You want to be able to take care of your car. Like I said, 250 long laps. It's going to be a long way to the front for Logan Helton, but as long as he's got a clean car, he can definitely play some strategy because cautions break cautions here at Martinsville. So if he can get a couple of those and be able to play the strategy right, he might be able to find himself up front later on.
And with Hoffman running in second place right now, knocking on the door of Boyd Hogan, trying to get that lead, but as you can see, the 96 now starting to pull away at the front by a considerable margin. So Helton needs to try and make up positions towards the back as we see a little bit of side-by-side action. There's a couple of teammates at Great Lakes Motorsports all lined up. You can see it on the timing tower. Shorba, Arthur, and Mullins, all part of Great Lakes Motorsports, running 6, 7, and 8 right now. David Santini sits a little bit farther back as it looks like issue for John Mullins. He gets pushed right up the racetrack. Matthew Long is going to work his way by for that spot, and here comes the 79 and David Santini also going to work his way around and for that 9th spot. Puts Mullins down into P10 as we just begin here from the virtual Martinsville Speedway. You can see left side of your screen, all the drivers that are currently in the playoffs. If they're highlighted in green, that means they are in the playoffs, currently trying to make the championship 4. Boyd Hogan, your current leader, the only driver who is locked in to the championship 4. Ralph Hutchison has an opportunity to lock himself in with this stage. If he is 50 points good to the cut line when we begin stage number 2, Hutchison will lock himself in on points. We have a great look on board with the 51 here, and on board in the sim rig with Hutchison as well.
Look at how calm he is through here. He knows he has to get up there, but he has a fast race car too. The 51 has just been sitting here running consistent lap times throughout this entire time. He ran a 19.4. He's a lot off of what they're running up front. The leaders are still running 19.1s and 19.3s. He's a little slower, but the biggest person off the pace right now is the guy we don't need to see off the pace, and that's Logan Helton. He's a second off of 13th. As people are starting to go a lap down, you see the 77, he's already went a lap down, and see how far he's gapped from 13th to 14th. It's going to make a huge difference. He's praying for this stage break to make some adjustments.
And Briar, when you see a driver like Logan Helton struggling this much, and if you're in this position yourself trying to get the win, because that's the only way you're going to race for a championship in Phoenix is if you get the win. If you're running like Helton right now, are the emergency bells starting to ring, or are you just waiting for that first caution to come down into pit road and make those first adjustments to get that car working a little bit better? Or is hope kind of all lost now for Helton?
If I was Helton, the emergency bells would be ringing for sure. Being a second off 13th, as Terry said there, would definitely be alarming to me. Sounds like it's going to be a long race for Helton. Not sure if he's just trying to keep it clean and whatnot, but we'll see here as we work with Brandon Davis here going into turn number 3. The Davis brothers side by side with the VR headset on, but yeah, as you said, emergency bells are going to be ringing for sure. Logan Helton might be just trying to keep it clean, but we'll see as the race goes on.
Ryan Strunk worked his way into the pit lane. Not sure why, but he is now in the pit lane. The only driver in the pit lane. Looks like he's grabbing repairs. And we'll see if he gets back out on the racetrack. But in reference to tonight's race, Logan Helton, who currently runs in P14, was quoted on Twitter as saying, "Help." So I think definitely Logan Helton was just looking for a good night tonight, and definitely not the way he wanted to start it. But still working our way on to lap number 19 as we go on board with Vincent Arthur. Another one of those drivers who is looking to lock himself into the championship 4. And Hutchison can lock himself in this stage, and Terry Vincent can lock himself in stage number 2. If he's 40 points good to the cut line at the beginning of stage number 3. So really it's simple for Vincent Arthur right now. Just keep making positions up on the racetrack and hopefully have that cut line be in your favor when you go into the final stage.
It's also good that he has 2 playoff drivers in front of him. He's got Shorba and Hutchison right in front of the positions that he's trying to get. Got 3 people that aren't in the playoffs that really have nothing to lose. They're here for wins. They're here to do what AJ Allmendinger and the people over there at Colleague Racing wants to do, and that's just collect trophies. They have nothing to lose, and Martinsville's the place that you want to come when you really do have nothing on the line, but just show up and win. So if I was Arthur, he's riding consistent. He has a good little gap, about a car length between him and the guy behind him, of Mr. Long. He's going to have to work through some of this traffic, and as they begin to lap people, as they are starting to catch the back end of the field, John Theodore and Logan Helton are well off the pace compared to what the leaders are doing. It's going to be interesting to see how we cycle through in stage 1.
And Severa running in 4th right now, one of the drivers who was eliminated from the playoffs a couple of rounds ago. Looking for, like you mentioned, Terry, just that trophy, that win here at Martinsville. Battle for P5 starting to develop as here comes Shorba with a move to the inside. Side-by-side moment. 51 of Hutchison on the outside. 30 is Shorba on the inside. They will stay side by side as they race back to turn 1. Shorba with a great rotation on the inside. And now Briar Hutchison is in a bad spot here because look at all the drivers behind him. They're starting to move to the inside line. This is classic Martinsville. It acts almost like Daytona or Talladega, where if you get in a line that is not running, you can get freight trained on the inside or outside and be gone and down 5+ spots in a matter of just a handful of laps.
Yeah, you might as well start sounding the train horn because Ralph is currently getting trained by everyone on the inside there. Doing his best to hold on to the outside. Looks like he's struggling a little bit with the handling of that car, maybe some pace. As you have the 79 there, David Centeni working around him. Ralph up out of the pavement, way up high coming out of turn number 2. Looks a little worried there. Pace looks to be a factor in the 51 machine.
Just a reminder, of course, Terry, that Ralph Hutchison not coming into this race really with a lot of stress towards that cut line. I believe with the amount of drivers we have starting this race, he could already be locked into the next round, so he's not have the anxiety of the cut line, but obviously if you're not locked in with a win, there still is a little bit of pressure coming to Martinsville because you're always thinking about that what if.
Yeah, I mean, it's the night before Halloween. You know, everybody in the field has some type of fear that something could drastically go wrong. We've seen it for the 77. He had some incidental contact. He's on pit road. He's 17 laps down. You see it with Logan Helton coming in a must-win situation, and instead, he's 12 seconds back. He's fallen close to what the leaders are doing. He's coming 36 below the line, and the people he sees in front of him are all sitting there 1 through 3, and everybody's ahead of him. So everybody should be on notice that if you have an incident here with the stage breaks, with the end of the race, you could potentially fall out, even if you're the guy sitting in third and fourth. Can't just sit here and go, oh man, I have to go. And it's something I'm sure Breyer could allude to as well, that you come into one of these elimination races, you always have to be on guard because Boyd Hogan's putting a spanking on him. He's been doing it for 5 straight races, and he's been doing it all season. It hasn't stopped here in Martinsville. Somebody's going to have to step up and take that podium from him.
When we talk about drivers in the playoffs who are having a bit of struggles, as we see the last 3 results for Boyd Hogan, all 3 number 1s, and that goes back all the way to Las Vegas. He's on a 5-race win streak, trying to go 6 in a row now, and this has been his longest win streak of the season. It originally was 3 from Las Vegas to Atlanta in the spring. Then he went on another win streak before we got into the playoffs, had a streak of 4, Indianapolis Road Course, Michigan, Daytona, and Darlington. And now Boyd Hogan is on a streak of 5, looking for 6 here from virtual Martinsville. Jacob Shorba, another one of the drivers in the playoffs, looking in a must-win situation. Running in 5th right now, but still doesn't have the pace to run with the leaders. And at minus 48, Breyer, he is in that must-win situation. But he's running good, running in 5th, not running the lap times of the leaders. How stressful is that when you're sitting? You know you have the pace to contend. You're sitting in P5, but you can't go up any further because you don't have the pace over a long run.
Yeah, To be honest, lap 35 shouldn't stress too much, but I'd be a little bit stressed if it comes down to the end of the race and you're still a little bit off after some pit road adjustments and whatnot. Still working stage 1 early on in the race, still a long ways to go, but being under the cut line, majority of everyone is pretty much in a must-win situation. But yeah, Shorba working ahead of Vincent Arthur there. But yeah, I would not be too stressed so far, but we'll see what he's got later on.
Already working our way to halfway through stage number 1 as we go on a lap number 38 of 250 here tonight. You can see the battle for 5th currently developing as Jacob Shorba sits P5, Vincent Arthur sits P6, Matthew Long, David Centini, John Mullins trying to catch up from behind, but we take a trip on board with Vincent Arthur and gets close going into turn number 1, but doesn't look like he wants to force the issue yet, especially on the Great Lakes Motorsports teammate of Jacob Shorba. There's the Davis brothers running together, the 92 and 91, currently 11th and 12th, and Helton has caught up to somebody, but look who's catching up to Helton now, Terry. Here comes Boyd Hogan. If he puts Logan Helton a lap down, that is only going to add to the 63 struggles tonight.
Yeah, I mean, you talked about him going on social media and talking about how he just needed help. That's one of the struggles here. And I talked to a couple drivers before the race even happened through my connections that I have. And I said, talk about Martinsville. Put it in a nutshell for me of the anxiety you have coming into this race, and especially with a cutoff playoff race on top of it. And every one of them said, Terry, it's the last thing I want to do is go there and put 10 laps down and have to worry that somebody else is 2 seconds, 3 seconds faster than me. His fastest lap time so far is a 19.2. Okay, the fastest lap time for Boyd Hogan right now is an 18.9. And it's still flip-flopped. He's still 0.3 of a second faster. And here at Martinsville, that's an eternity. That's 50 hot dogs in Martinsville's terms. He has to go. He has to do something. Any small adjustment for Logan Helton's going to have to be the big one. I'm sure he's hoping that the 4, 5, and 6 battle right here between Shorba, and Arthur could potentially bring the caution, even if it's teammates.
Well, Terry, now you have me wanting a Martinsville hot dog, and I'm very jealous. Our social media manager, Eric Messer, if you follow us on Podium Esports, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, you'll see all the updates from Eric Messer and his team tonight. But Eric will be in Martinsville tomorrow and eating a Martinsville hot dog, and I'm so very jealous. But back to the race virtually. We have here the Martinsville Speedway. On the topic of Logan Helton and his fastest lap time being a 19.2. Only driver with a slower fastest lap time than him is John Theodore, who currently runs in front of him in the number 27. Battle for 5th has developed into a 3-car battle now, as it is Shorba, Arthur, and Long. 2 drivers in the playoffs, Shorba and Arthur, and Matthew Long currently sits in P7. Closest battle on the racetrack right now as we have about 21 laps to go here in stage number 1, excuse me, and continuing to run under the green flag run. We have not had a caution yet this race, and as of right now, taking a look at those live points, not only would Ralph Hutchison lock himself into the next round of the playoffs in the Championship 4, we're looking at Vincent Arthur also locking himself in, but Breyer, you saw that loose moment there off of turn number 4 from Vincent Arthur. Looks like that number 24 might be starting to get a little bit loose on the exit here at Martinsville.
One of the most important things here at Martinsville is being able to keep the rears on these things, because you got a lot of horsepower coming off the corner and you're going to be spinning tires. Usually it's a hot and slick race at Martinsville, but this time it's cool, but still you need to keep on saving the rear tires the best you can, because your drive offense is going to help you to make passes here.
And that is important, of course, to get that drive off, get that momentum down the straightaway. And you can see in the track temperature right now, 81 degrees, Terry. Not exactly warm. We've seen 90, 100, 110 plus when it comes to track temperatures. But 81 degrees, not going to give them too much favors when it comes to grip, like 65 degree track temp or 70 degree track temp would give you. But 81 is definitely going to help the tire wear just a little bit. These drivers have a little bit more grip than they normally would.
Yeah, they do have a ton of grip here, and it's something that when I was talking to the drivers, they really did talk about how the track temp does play a big difference. You see 2 different types of asphalt, and then you have concrete. You come into the corners, and when the concrete gets heated up, it becomes slick. You're like on a skating ring out there, and when you come down the straights, you don't have to really worry about it. But when you're going from braking on the asphalt to braking on the concrete, it really messes with the car. A lot of people was nervous about it. And I'm sure right now, Logan Helton just went a lap down. He's nervous. He's having issues as we ride on board with him. Look, as soon as he gets down to the corner, it's like he can't hold the bottom. He slides up, and then he comes out of the corner. He can't get the power back down. And Breyer, what is it here? If you can't get the power down, how much speed does it take away your straightaway and backs?
Takes away a lot there. Helton struggling right now. Theodore looks like he's going to be the next one to be lapped here. But yes, it takes away a lot. Helton needing to probably get that lap back before the stage ends here. We're closing in on that. Lap 65, I believe, is the end of stage 1. Theodore going to try and hold off Boyd here before the end of the stage. Don't want to get lapped. But if Theodore does end up getting lapped, he should be the lucky dog here, as long as Boyd doesn't catch up to the next group of lap cars, which are the Davis brothers. But Theodore trying to hold on strong here ahead of Boyd.
Coming to the end of the stage here in just about 12 laps now, ends at lap number 65 here tonight. And looking at the live points, Hutchison, even though he fell down a little bit further, now sits in second place in the live points. Vincent Arthur sits in third in the live points. And remember, when the caution flag comes out for the end of the stage, any driver that is above 50 points on the cut line is guaranteed locked into the next round. They do not need to do anything else tonight. Technically, they can park it and they'd be good to get into the Championship 4. 10 laps to go here in the stage. Helton and Theodore put 1 lap down. as Boyd Hogan continues his reign over virtual Martinsville. We go on board with Matthew Long, who's looking to try and get around Vincent Arthur for P6 as they dive into turn 1.
He's trying to go to the outside right there, and I see kind of what his point is to do this. He's diamonding the corner, and it's something that you could do here as the run progresses. I was watching the Excavating race just a little while ago, and I seen them as the run went on, about 50, 60, 70 laps into the run, you would see them start to progress up to the top just ever so slightly to arc the corner in to give themselves a great run. As you see Long, he's going to get under there. It's encouraged here to use that bumper, and I expect the playoff cars and the non-playoff cars to race each other with a ton of respect. But once you get to crunch time, I'm sure these non-playoff guys want to do what I said earlier. They want to collect trophies. But right now, the big story needs to be we're closing in on the end of this stage. Logan Helton is not catching John Theodore at all to get his lap back.
And we're going to speak to him under the yellow flag here, see exactly what is going on with that Chevy Camaro. Look at the exit off of turn 4 for Vincent Arthur, very loose, and that's going to open the door for Matthew Long to the inside. Arthur cannot get down there to protect that spot. Quick in time. Here they come to turn number 3. Still trying to make it work on the outside is Arthur. But how good is this rotation going to be on the inside line as Matthew Long tries to power it? He gets loose off turn 4 that time, and there goes Vincent Arthur. He'll hold on to P6. Long went for it, got too loose off the exit of 4, and Brian, that seems to be the main place these drivers are starting to struggle. Exit of turn 4 and exit of turn 2. They're trying to get these cars rotated through the corner. They're loose on exit. They're over-rotating. That is not what these drivers want.
Absolutely not. Like I was saying earlier, you want to be able to keep the rears on these race cars. And Vincent Arthur looks like he's got an ill-handling race car. Matthew Long, if he can just hold together, he might be able to get him before the end of this stage, but got a little too greedy there trying to get him off of turn number 4 and lost it as he's still wiggling down the back, or the front straightaway, sorry. But he might be able to gather it up. We'll see. David Centeni charging up onto his back bumper as we're on board here with Vincent Arthur, looking back to the next 2 cars. But yeah, as I said earlier, keeping the rears on these things is going to be the most important thing, as you want the most drive off as possible.
2 to go in the stage this time by. For, I don't think anybody is surprised by this. Boyd Hogan comes to the line for 2 to go here in the stage, looking to walk away with stage win number 29, and a total 109 playoff points this season. Boyd Hogan will come across the start-finish line. The white flag is in the air for stage number 1. Then we'll go back through 1 and 2, reaches the 91 of Brandon Davis, excuse me. Stephen Davis is the Davis brother who's currently in the playoffs and was put 1 lap down. Brandon Davis will not get put a lap down, and for the 29th time this season, Boyd Hogan is a stage winner in the MSRA Premier Series.
Back up the stage for Boyd Hogan. He drove away with the field, had almost a 4-second gap on the second place, and was starting to put some, I would say, relatively decent people throughout the entire season here. I mean, they're there. They've enjoyed their success so far in the playoffs. Big break for Stephen Davis. He didn't, or his brother didn't let him down. He stayed on the lead lap, so Brandon Davis stays there, and now the 92 gets the wave around. It's gonna be an interesting stage 2 to see what Logan can do.
Stage 1 winner, Boyd Hogan, presented by Shorba's Racing Graphics. SRG offers great services at affordable prices with iRacing paints, logos, numbers, and even t-shirts. $5 from each sale are donated to the Midwest Sim Racing Association end-of-season prize fund. Visit them on Facebook at Shorba's Racing Graphics. First time down into the pit lane for the drivers here in the field. The drivers who are currently 1 lap down, forced to stay out on the racetrack behind the iRacing pace car. Here comes Boyd Hogan in, Hoffman in, McWhorter in, Severa in, everybody into their pit stall. Looks like it's going to be a common strategy throughout the field. 4 tires and 2 full cans of Sunoco fuel. And Boyd Hogan going to easily win the race off pit road. Hoffman second. Looks like going to be McWhorter third, Severa fourth, as Stephen Davis stays out on the racetrack. He brings it down in the pit lane this time by for grabbing the wave around. And Boyd Hogan will be leading the field back to green in stage number 2. A great run in stage number 1 for Boyd Hogan. And Briar, talking about a couple of the drivers who needed some adjustments made. Ralph Hutchison will be restarting in 10th. Or finally getting to see Logan Helton into the pit lane. Looks like he's going to beat John Theodore out to go into P13. If you're Helton, if you're Hutchison, are you making a Hail Mary pass at these adjustments right now, or are you kind of going a little bit slower as to not over-adjust on that car?
If I'm Hutchison, I'm going to take the adjustment slow for sure. You don't want to overstep it too early on. You just want to have a comfortable, clean car with the points gap he's got. He's got a pretty decent gap, so I wouldn't want to mess anything up, causing me to overstep or have any issue. You don't want to have any issues here with it being a cutoff race because you never know what's going to happen.
Well, we're going to talk with your stage number 1 winner. It is a 96 of Boyd Hogan, standing by with Terry Radford.
So Boyd, dominating stage 1, you've dominated 5 straight races here. You can make it 6 tonight and have the momentum going into the championship race. How good is that Chevy?
It's real good right now. It's a little on the edgy side later on in the run, but I mean, even just trying to manage the tires, it seemed like it was faster than everybody else. So hopefully it stays that way, and we can get another one and go on to Phoenix and get that one too.
Well, I got to ask you before you go, how good did it make you feel to lap the guy that won the last short track race at Bristol, Logan Helton?
Not too worried about it.
Confidence is key. Thank you, Boyd.
Great to hear from Boyd Hogan. You can just hear the confidence that the 96 has. He has 5 wins in a row, looking for number 6. He won stage 1. See if he can have that same magic in stage number 2. Green flag flies from Barney the Flagman. Stage 2 is green.
Man, the run that Boyd Hogan gets right there, he allowed the 3rd place driver to just catapult past the outside. Hoffman didn't know what he could do, but you talk about the interview that we just did. Boyd Hogan pulled a little Kid Rock swag out of there. He wrote the song Cocky, and I mean, we say it's cocky. He says what? It ain't bragging if you back it up, car on the wall.
I believe that was Matthew Long that went way up towards the wall in the number 28. Yes, it was. It was a quick trip up to the wall in turns 1 and 2. Doesn't look like he has any damage to that car, so it looks like the 28 machine is good to go. But look at the battle a little bit further back. Logan Helton pushed up the racetrack. Here comes John Theodore to the inside. This is going to be the real test for Logan Helton here, Briar. Can he run with the pack and around other cars? It looks like right now, stuck on the outside line. He's going to have a bit of a fight here with John Theodore to hold on to this 13th spot.
So far, it looks like that car is shot out of the cannon and he's flying right now, trying to hold it strong around the outside of John Theodore. There, he's almost going to make it happen here, rolling into turn number 3. So we go on board here with Joseph McWhorter closing in on Boyd Hogan for the lead. McWhorter and Hoffman have brought a strong piece tonight here to race. Look for them later on in the race.
On board with Joseph McWhorter. Winner from Richmond in the first round of the playoffs to get him into the round of 12. Then since then, obviously since the beginning of the round of 12, it has been all Boyd Hogan into victory lane. But it hasn't been the best running for Joseph McWhorter through the last couple of rounds of the playoffs. He made it in with a 5th place finish in the Roval, but since then, lackluster finishes has put him underneath the cut line coming into tonight. Basically in a must-win situation. Look at the run he's getting on Boyd Hogan right now, Terry. Don't think he has the pace to really pass him right now. He's about 4/100 slower than the 96, but that goes to show that Hogan is able to be beat because McWhorter is running right on his back bumper.
I mean, I tell you what, if I'm the 32, you don't have the speed. You don't have the speed to get there. The points are updated. We're going to see the 24 is going to be locked in. 51 of Hutchison is not going to be. But right now you see the 32 of McWhorter. I mean, if you see the back bumper, sometimes it's best to just push it. Like I said, it's encouraged to do it here. It's one of the things that if you go around here and you punt somebody, well, they might be mad, but oh well, he's locked in. It's just another win for him. It's just another check in the box. For Joseph, it's a championship race. It's time to go put it all on the line. And if he gets him on a late race restart, we could potentially see him go up there and make some headway. He's got a fast machine.
On board with Vincent Arthur, who has now locked himself into the Championship 4 in Phoenix. And talking about drivers this season, you talk about Boyd Hogan being the dominant driver. Well, there was a time in this series at the beginning of the season where Boyd Hogan was the only driver that had won from Daytona to Atlanta except for one race. It was Auto Club Speedway, and the winner was the 24 of Vincent Arthur. There was a considerable amount of time where the only drivers who could beat Boyd Hogan were Ralph Hutchison, Vincent Arthur, and Logan Helton. Since then, we have had a bunch of different winners, including a lot of one-time winners, especially the road courses, but a great run from Vincent Arthur this season. He is going to battle for a championship in Phoenix. Battle for the final spot, one lap down between Helton and Theodore. Helton has the spot right now. And Brian, this could be huge for Logan Helton if he can hold on to this free pass spot, because once another caution comes out, once they see a caution for a stage, that lucky dog happens, and the first driver one lap down is able to go back onto the lead lap. That is what Helton needs if he wants any chance at racing for a race win and a spot in the Championship 4.
I can guarantee you under the helmet, or, well, a VR headset of Logan Logan Helton, he screamed and put it out, hoping for a yellow here, as we got, I think that's 24 of Vincent Arthur there, or 64, John Mullen, sorry, but crazy save there. But yeah, if I'm Logan Helton, I'm screaming put it out, because you need the lucky dog here quick. You need to try and make some adjustments to see if you can gain some more spots here.
That looked like a little bit of contact coming off of turn 4 for Mullins from the 91 of Brandon Davis. That sent Mullins around a little bit off the exit of turn 4. But out in front, Hogan still leads. McWhorter was able to reel him in. Now Hogan has run away just a tiny bit, about 6/10, separate the top two. As they race back through 3 and 4. Remember, this stage will be closing out on lap number 130. They're going to go 120 laps to the finish of tonight's race here from the virtual Martinsville Speedway. Last race of the round of 8 for the playoffs. And we're in for an amazing championship round from virtual Phoenix in 1 week's time. Back on board with the 24, Vincent Arthur, as he runs P5, trying to catch up to Chris Severa, winner from the Nashville Super Speedway earlier this season, and has Jacob Shorba trying to take a peek to his outside. Shorba's not able to get the spot away.
You see what Shorba's trying to do. He's going into the corner. He's doing everything possible to get around him. He goes down to the bottom. He's basically painting the turtle down there, right against that curbing. I mean, I don't drive as much, and I sure don't drive short tracks. I love to watch them. I don't enjoy to race them. Briar, if you're down there, how much speed does it change? If you go a groove up from the bottom, does it make a difference on your tires? Like, what does it do for these drivers to change their rhythm at a track like this?
It definitely changes it a lot. Usually at a short track, you're going around this track pretty quickly, so you want to be able to hit your marks and just get in the groove and be able to be smooth. For me personally, as a driver here, I'm just looking to be low and slow and hugging that curve as much as I can, and being able to throttle myself coming off the corner, because you need to save the rears, as I've been saying. But being able to save the rears there is going to be the biggest thing here. As it looks like we are on board here with David Centini trying to run down Jacob Shorba here, running into turn number 3.
Centini, another one of those drivers this season who we've seen a lot. He has started 14 races this season, wasn't in the playoffs, but have had a lot of great runs this season. And Centini with 3 top 5s, 7 top 10s, definitely nothing to scoff at as they race off of turn number 4. Arthur with a little bit of pressure from Shorba, and Centini behind. 3 Great Lakes Motorsports teammates all fighting here for P5. 5 points, the right side of your screen, you can see that updated cut line. McWhorter is in a must-win situation, so is Helton, so is Shorba, so is Brandon Davis Stephen Davis. I will get them right at 1 point during this race. Stephen Davis in the 92, who currently sits in a must-win situation as well, P8. Top 2 on the live points, Boyd Hogan, Vincent Arthur are locked in, and Ralph Hutchison, as of now, looks to be all but locked in. Just needs to finish this stage, be over 40 points good to the cut line, and then it is guaranteed that he will race in the championship. And I believe, I'll have to break the calculators out here, but I believe Hoffman might have an opportunity to fully lock up the championship 4 at the end of this stage. See if the math works its way through, but middle of the way through a run here, Brian, we haven't really talked about tires much, because I don't think tires are really talked about when it comes to Martinsville, but we're seeing a distinct drop-off in the lap times. How much tire wear are these drivers starting to feel as we go a little bit over halfway done in the stage, about 30 some odd laps left?
Well, we've seen at the end of stage 1, the battle between, I believe it was Matthew Long and Vincent Arthur there. They had some ill-handling race cars coming really loose coming off the corners there. I would assume we'd see about the same thing, maybe a little bit better for the drivers because we had a shorter stint here because we're only running to lap 130. But the last stage is going to be the one to watch with the tire wear, see which driver can hold on the best with the rear tires there, because it's going to be a long one to the end.
So according to my math, which could be very wrong, I should state that first, but according to my math, if Clayton Hoffman is 36 points good to the cut line, he will lock up the final spot of the championship 4, because we only have 15 drivers in this race. And by the way points are delivered, that would mean the minimum, or the minimum amount of points that the last place driver would get would be 26. Add on 10 points from the stage, the maximum amount of points there, you get 36. So I believe that Hoffman might have an opportunity to lock up a spot in the championship 4 here. Of course, nothing is official until post-race, and we get fully updated points from race control, but definitely something to think about, because we do have now 2 drivers that are guaranteed locked in, about to be 3, and then it becomes a battle on that cut line that, Terry, if Hoffman is good on points, the only thing that would take him out is a win from McWhorter, Helton, Shorba, and Davis, who right now are all not fast enough to run up with Boyd Hogan and to beat the 96, who has led every single lap tonight.
Well, I tell you, the one thing that beats speed, and you know, I get to be the official guy. The only thing that beats speed is a punt in the ass. And if McWhorter gets up there to Boyd Hogan on a late race caution, it's game over. It's game over for Boyd Hogan if you have somebody come up there and just punt your ass. Now, Boyd is fast. You can't let him get away. We just saw what Noah just did. He was able to pinch down Daniel Hemrick. He was able to move his way through the field. He did what he had to do off the exit of the corner. If we do what Breyer talked about, pinch him down, get a little bit in the door, sling off, exit, game. He's there. That's the only thing Joseph can hope for right now, because he's 2 seconds off. He's 2 seconds back. Now, it's punt time.
Still a ton of racing left as well. We're closing in on the end of stage number 2, but still just a lot of time remaining that Boyd Hogan has to run up at the front, but also drivers have to try and catch up to him. What could happen on a restart? Boyd Hogan, we talked about all the time in the sim, software, hardware issues could lead to a driver being out of this race. Could we see that from Hogan? Could we see him get punted into the wall and be out of this race? There's still a lot of racing left and a lot of things to be discovered here in the race from virtual Martinsville. We're glad you're tuning in here on Podium Esports to the Canterbury RV 125, the final race in the round of 8 for the MSRA Premier Series playoffs. Joshua Lee here with you in the booth, Terry Radford, Brian LaPrade along for the ride with our producer Ryan Bauer, using cameras provided by Dougie Beard tonight, Derek Messer and Cameron Auburnon on social media tonight as well. On board, David Santini still trying to chase down Jacob Shorba for that 6th spot. but not getting close enough. And it becomes challenging, I think, for Shorba in this situation specifically, Briar, because we talk about Vincent Arthur in the playoffs. We talk about Jacob Shorba also in the playoffs, but they're also teammates at Great Lakes Motorsports. You're racing for a spot in the championship 4, but you don't want to wreck your teammate. That is the #1 rule of motorsports.
Yeah, absolutely. They get put in a weird spot there. Us at Lockdown Racing, it's just kind of every driver for themselves. You got to race your race and do your own thing and worry about yourself. But yeah, teammate games come into play here at the end. Maybe we'll see how that works. But as we're on board here with Ralph Hutchison, struggling with this race car and running P9 right now, started P5, falling back, nowhere near close on Boyd's pace. I'm sure he's going to be very frustrated about that, but we'll see how this works coming to the end of the race.
Already over 100 laps over and done. Looking to end this stage at lap 130, and then we'll go 120 laps to the finish of tonight's race. So we'll be a little bit over halfway by the time we take the green flag for the final stage of the night. Back to battle for 5th, Vincent Arthur, Jacob Shorba, 5th and 6th as they race back to turn 1. Shorba able to close in a little bit, but it looks like Arthur having a little bit better speed. But last time by Terry, Shorba was about a 10th faster than his teammate in Vincent Arthur, who currently sits tail end of the top 5. You look back to Logan Helton and John Theodore continuing to fight for the first spot in off a lead lap, but John Mullins currently has that spot in P12.
And that's the one thing they don't want to see. They also see the leader in their rearview mirror. He's on the same straightaway as they are, but they're fighting because it's an opportunity. If you can catch up there to John Mullins, who's in the 64, who had that big slide, his tires are starting to blister. He's had a little bit of struggles here this evening. Got a little bit of contact in the rear end, slid up out of the groove. Everybody got around him, and just look at how far he is off. He's got a little damage on the front, got a little bit on the back. It's hard on him to get down. As you see, he's right there on the back bumper. You see what the 27 of John Theodore is doing right now to Logan Helton. He's out of the groove. He's going to let it by. Don't want to ruin any chances if he can somehow get back on the lead lap. This could be his only opportunity as he's about to go 2 laps down.
And remember, the way this playoff format works is that all Logan Helton needs to do is win. So, technically, Briar, he does not need to be the fastest car on the racetrack. We have seen that before. It could come down to an overtime restart where Helton starts in first on old tires and has the best defense for 2 laps and walks away with the checkered flag. It's still a win. He still got the win. He earned the win by having that late race strategy to stay out. But we're talking about it in the sense of that's all it takes to get into the championship 4. We have seen Logan Helton this season, one of the best drivers on the track. 4 wins, 3rd most out of anybody, only behind Boyd Hogan and Vincent Arthur in terms of win count. So we know Logan Helton can win. Just the struggles he's having tonight at Martinsville, I think in stage number 3, and you might agree, Briar, could lead to some bold strategy moves from the 63 team.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You're going to see a bunch of bold strategies played by all playoff drivers that are below the cut line. Anything can happen. All it takes is a win, and you're in the race for the championship next week at Phoenix. So any one of those drivers honestly could play that strategy, but Helton needs to make sure he doesn't go 2 laps down here before he's going to be in deep trouble here going into the final stage.
Continuing to work under stage number 2. Already about 8 to go here in the second stage of the night. And tonight's title sponsor for the Midwest Sim Racing Association Premier Series is Canterbury RV. For more than 30 years, Canterbury has been building high-quality havens that blend the simple life with the good life. And now we're taking our experience to the next level, offering folks the chance to outfit their RVs where the possibilities are as boundless as the great outdoors itself. See your Canterbury RV dealer for more information. 7 laps to go, stage number 2. We're glad you're along for the ride with us here on Podium Esports for the MSRA Premier Series, the elimination round of the playoffs. We've been bringing you coverage since the race at Richmond here in the playoffs, and We saw Joseph McWhorter, Logan Helton go to victory lane in the first 2 broadcasts of the playoffs this year, and then it has been Boyd Hogan winning 5 in a row. Just an incredible feat for the 96. 16 wins total this season. The driver trying to chase him down right now is Joseph McWhorter, but the driver of the number 91 machine sits in between both of them right now, or the 92 of Stephen Davis sits in between them right now. As Hogan continues to lead, putting a couple more drivers 1 lap down, and he is about to catch up to the 91 of Brandon Davis and put the 91 under 1 lap down. As Logan Helton now has gone to 2 laps down. The 92 of Stephen Davis not going to give any pressure to the lead lap drivers, but 2 laps down now for Logan Helton. Not what the 63 wanted, not what the 63 needed, and this is going to be a very aggressive run, I have a feeling, for the 63 going into the final stage of the night. Jacob Shorba giving pressure to Chris Severa, who was able to get by him for P5 on the racetrack. Here comes Shorba trying to come back on the number 62. As we see 2 laps to go here in the stage, but as Boyd Hogan comes off turn 4, make it 1 to go. White flag in the air for stage number 2. Before we go into the stage number 2 break. Off and over to the back straightaway. And coming into turns 3 and 4. 2 stage wins this season, making a grand total of 30 overall in the season for Boyd Hogan. The 96 wins stage 2.
Just absolute dominance from Boyd Hogan in this league. He's been able to just assert it from the beginning. He hasn't had to put a lot of pressure on himself. You heard him in his interview. He was very cocky. He was bold at what he was saying because he knew he was fast. He pulled away to 3.4 seconds on the field. He's basically eliminating any opportunity for these drivers to potentially put a bumper or rough him up in any manner whatsoever. Unless we get a late race caution, Boyd Hogan's going to be the one to beat. But I would say cautions aren't over, and the patience can get thrown out the window now that we're going to have virtually 100 laps to go, roughly when they take the green flag.
Stage number 2 winner, Boyd Hogan, presented by HutchCo. HutchCo has been proudly serving the northeastern Colorado community since 1999, pouring the foundations of countless homes and shops. The MSRA commemorates their service as their business ends operations. HutchCo has long desired to be involved in racing and has joined the Premier Series to fulfill that dream. Thanks to HutchCo for their service.
Funny story. I actually used them.
Get the funny story, Terry.
I actually used them. They were my heating people in Colorado when I was over there at Fort Carson.
Well, there we go.
Yeah, good company.
The stage 2 here of the MSRA Premier Series, and take a look at the exit. Boyd Hogan gets out in front, albeit barely, over the 32 of Joseph McWhorter. Clayton Hoffman comes out 3rd. Vincent Arthur, Jacob Shorba, the top 5. Stephen Davis grabs the lucky dog for the 2nd time tonight. And he will be back on the lead lap, but Boyd Hogan will be restarting from P number 1. And the 96 of Boyd Hogan walks away with the stage number 2 victory. We're going to talk to our in-race reporter here in just a moment. Vincent Arthur in the number 24. He has now, based on points, is now officially in the championship 4. We have him in the broadcast booth with us now. Vincent, first of all, let's talk about the race car right now. How is it feeling out there on the track?
I mean, it's been a beast to deal with. A little bit loose everywhere, but we've gotten it a lot better. I think I finally found my rhythm there in that last round. And we made a couple more changes here on pit road. We'll see how it goes. These guys up front are fast. Track position is absolutely key today. Passing's a little more difficult than I thought, but overall, the full tilt Chevrolet is fast. She's good, and we made a little bit of changes, and hopefully that'll get us up there in contention for the win.
Well, also talking about really quickly the championship 4. Now you're locked in on points. What is your confidence level going into Phoenix? Can you run for a championship?
I think we can. I think the last couple weeks have been good for building back some momentum. we've had a lot of changes going on within, the team and the Triad Alliance. So being able to figure out the information that I need to give them to make the cars, the way that I want them. I think that's really important, and we've been able to do that the past couple weeks, and I think it's starting to finally pay off. So momentum's been getting back up, and hopefully we go into Phoenix and we're able to compete for a championship, because I think we've had a really good year so far, and hopefully we can top it off.
Good luck in the rest of the race here, Vincent. Hopefully we're talking to you post-race. Here we go, back to racing, stage number 3. We go iRacing full throttle. Hear the sights and sounds of Martinsville. In stage number 3, it's time for our Strunk PC ones to watch. Check out Strunk PC on Facebook for all of your computer repair needs. Well, we'll start with you, Terry. Who is your Strunk PC ones to watch as we get ready into stage number 3?
I'm going to go with Clayton Hoffman. He's starting to build some energy going into this field. His best lap time so far is a 19:01, which is only about 7 100ths off of what Boyd Hogan's doing. He's staying within 5 100ths here on this time, and he's a Cookeville, Tennessee native, so go Rocky Top.
Briar, what say you? Who are you watching as we go through stage number 3?
I'm on board here with Joseph McWhorter. I think he's got a really good short run car. I think if we can get a yellow towards the end of this race and he can get a good enough restart, he might be able to pounce on Boyd and get around him and make it happen here in Martinsville.
Well, our producer Ryan Bauer tonight going for Vincent Arthur in the number 24. And I believe our social media manager Eric Messer has taken the 96 of Boyd Hogan as his one to watch. So he took the main driver away from me. So I'm going to go with Chris Severa. I'm going to go with an underdog here. P5 currently from Severa. Think if he plays strategy right, we will have a green flag pit stop, I believe, here in stage number 3. If strategy goes right for the 62, we could see him in the victory lane tonight. But here comes a battle. Jacob Shorba taking a look to the inside. And they'll go side by side into turn number 1. Shorba on the inside line, Terry. That is the dominant line. We've seen it all night tonight, but Severa's holding his own on the outside line right now.
Well, pay attention to the way the track goes, and it's something I want to talk about. As I say that, the 62 goes out of the groove, goes off of the concrete right here, but the line's starting to change a little bit. You see the shade starting to progressively go up the racetrack. It's been interesting to see as you see the lap down cars going up there, laying some rubber on that outer groove, how it's going to play into the end. Can we see a two-tire stop based off of the fact of the progression of the race? And that's something that I would hope as there's a spin. There's the 51.
Ralph Hutchison turned around in turn 4, and the first yellow flag of the night that is not for a stage break has been called. Ralph Hutchison goes around in turn 4, and you can see the frustration on his face. Let's see what happened to the 51 and how that incident developed. Was it contact here, Breyer? Did he just lose that number 51? Let's find out. He's already got damage to the back bumper.
Yeah, already got damage to the back bumper. That's typical Martinsville for you, though, as the 91 barely got into him there. Went around. Neck coat there. Not what you want to see, but looks like he didn't. He got away with a lot of lucky little break there. Not too much damage, but obviously the rear damage still going to hurt him a little bit there, but lucky enough to not bounce it off the wall there as we're down pit road now. Boyd leading them down.
So drivers coming in, expecting this to be for tires only because according to NASCAR on Fox from the broadcast that I just pulled up, fuel window is about 145 to 150. So everybody is good to the end from the beginning of this stage. But here comes Clayton Hoffman off pit road first, a 2-tire stop for the 12, and he is going to lead the field back into green for the first time tonight. A great pit stop from Clayton Hoffman in the 12. He'll lead us back to green as Terry Radford stands by with Ralph Hutchison to see what happened there in turn 4.
Oh man, Ralph, we saw the anger on your face when you got turned right there. What? Well, this is a PG show, I mind you. What happened?
I'll keep it PG. When you run as bad as I'm running right now and miss the setup as bad as you did, you run with the people that cause problems like that, so you kind of get what you get on that deal. It's more my fault for being back here. I don't know how you miss a corner that bad, but it is what it is. Not going to retaliate. Doesn't help me any. So, yeah. Moral of the story, don't be slow if you don't want to run with the problems.
Kyle Busch vibes, I like it. You're already locked into the playoffs. Stage 2 got you in there. You're here on points. Nobody else can win to bump you out. How relieved are you knowing that you're going to the championship 4 and you have a week to set that up? Can you make it better than this going into Phoenix?
Yeah, the fixed setup would probably be better than what I'm driving right now. Definitely a relief. Definitely used every ounce of our cushion that we had, you know. I felt like Martinsville was a wild card race. Kansas and Texas were really important to run at. We went and executed at those tracks, and I guess we just laid an egg tonight. Working really hard on it. A lot of big adjustments. Still going to try and make something of the night here. So, thank you.
But does it make you relieved knowing that you're racing for a championship? You're going to have a bad night, but how can you spin this into a positive and hunt the good stuff to take you into the championship 4 to beat Boyd Hogan?
Gonna take everything done wrong. See, this is the 750 package still. Definitely a lot of notes here from this car that go into Phoenix and other flat tracks. So definitely found a lot of the ways not to do it. Gonna make a lot of changes to go run for a title next week.
Well, thank you so much, Ralph Hutchison. Best of luck. Hope to be talking to you later.
Thank you.
Field getting ready to come back to the green flag here. Clayton Hoffman going to lead the field to the green, and he is on the lap pedal. We are back underway here from virtual Martinsville. Field works their way off of turn number 2. Hoffman's able to get in front of Boyd Hogan. Side-by-side moment a little bit further back, but Clayton Hoffman, for the first time tonight, a driver other than Boyd Hogan, is leading laps at the front of the field here tonight from virtual Martinsville, and trying to pull away as well. We've seen Boyd Hogan be fast and clean air tonight, Breyer. How fast do you think he's going to be in the traffic? How much of a difference is that going to make?
There is a little bit of difference here at Martinsville in these cars. There's like a sort of dirty air bubble when you get within a tenth of the car in front of you. That makes it really tough to pass. But with these open setups, it should kind of offset that and give Boyd a little bit better of a chance. It looks like he's probably going to be sitting there saving his stuff, getting ready for this long run as Hoffman's trying to run away with it. With Hoffman leading, though, it doesn't change up the points too much, I don't believe, because he was sitting 4th. The live points after stage 2 was shown, but Boyd sitting there in P2, saving his stuff, getting ready for the long run, 93 to go.
Yeah, it's usually what we see from Boyd Hogan, saving his stuff through the long run to be able to have speed towards the end. We've seen it at intermediates, and we are definitely expecting to see it here as well on a short track. Updated points right side of your screen, and pretty much the same thing. We've been talking about Terry Helton's in a must-win. Hutchison is in a really good spot along with Vincent Arthur, and it looks like the only thing that is going to change that top four, even if Hoffman drops off of the lead, is if Helton, McWhorter, Shorba, or Davis end up winning this race.
It's good to see my one to watch up here leading the race. I was going to ask before we came off or went on the pit road, who would have been the strategist to put 2 tires on it? They hadn't ran many laps on either set. So taking rights or lefts to kind of offset what you're doing and hopefully potentially getting another caution here. The energy's going to pick up. 90 to go. Everybody's going to want to get just a little bit more agitated on the track. And it's not really going to change. Boyd and Hoffman have pulled away from Arthur and Shorba, so no pressure back there behind those two. They can race it out and see what they got to do. As Boyd starts to slowly creep in on him, insert Jaws music. Halloween reference. He's almost there. He can smell the back bumper in the lead once again.
Halloween reference for the Halloween paint scheme as well. Hogan ran this last week at Kansas and is still running it here at Martinsville. Expecting the classic colors from Boyd Hogan back in Phoenix, but I definitely would not be upset if he ran this Halloween paint scheme, Terry. That is one fresh-looking purple and yellow paint scheme. Definitely fits the Halloween bill very nicely.
It's a very beautiful Halloween theme, and it's awesome to see these guys coming out here and wanting to put on a show. It's a scary place to be, and especially the night before Halloween. You come out to a track like this, and for most of these drivers, they're coming below the cut line. So it's definitely in panic mode if you're Arthur, you're Shorba, you're McWhorter, you're one of the drivers that aren't locked in yet. But for the rest of them, they're sleeping pretty. They're going to go to bed at the end of this race and just breathe a sigh of relief. But for the rest of those guys, they're going to leave with their head hanging low. No candy for them, but candy for the top four.
85 to go this time by. No stage breaks left. We have had the break for stage 1. We have had the break for stage 2. We are now in stage number 3, racing to the checkered flag from virtual Martinsville. The only thing that will interrupt that is if we get another yellow flag for an incident. But now we have a top 2 breakaway between Hoffman and Hogan. 2 cars battle back from there. Arthur and Shorba, then Santini and Long rounding out the top 6. On board of the Joseph McWhorter. Breyer, you chose him as your shrunk PC1 to watch, and caution flag is going to fly for the second time for an incident tonight. And I believe the 92 of Stephen Davis, playoff driver, just got involved in an incident off of turn number 2. Let's find out what happened here. Breyer taking a look at the replay.
Looking at the number 92 there, Stephen Davis in the purple podium car. Coming around turns 1 and 2. Looking good so far. Not quite. Keeps it off the wall. Good save by him. Little half spin. Just a mistake on his end. Good thing he kept it off the wall there. Avoided damage as Clayton Hoffman leads him down pit road as we had Jacob Shorba stay out here.
Could that be a little bit of strategy from the 30 of Shorba? We'll have to find out as he stays out. I believe David Santini, Brandon Davis stay out as well. Hogan is in, Hoffman is in, Severa, McWhorter, Hutchison, and more work their way into the pit lane. So 3 drivers at the front stay out on the racetrack. And Boyd Hogan is going to be restarting in P5. So we're going through stage number 3 now. 82 laps to go, guys, and still a ton left. Terry, starting with you. We've seen a lot of great racing tonight, but I think these drivers want to get into a long run. They want to get comfortable with that. Not getting that right now with the cautions we've seen at the beginning of this stage.
Well, I tell you, the Martin sports gloves are off because now it's go time. Boyd Hogan sees the opportunity. Clayton Huffman moves into the 4th place position. He beats him off pit road once again. The second time tonight we've seen a slower stop for Boyd Hogan. With Jacob, David, Brandon, those guys staying out, it's going to change the dynamic of this race. Boyd wants to lead. He wants to continue his hot streak of 6 in a row. He wants to make that a staple going into the championship Sunday, or Saturday. Sorry, it's Saturday over here. But they're going to have to work through these slower cars. That's going to be an interesting show with 80 to go.
and Breyer. Boyd might have been saving his stuff, but ultimately when he gets back in the pack, he becomes a different driver. Maybe the car's handling a little different. Maybe it's Boyd Hogan trying to just save his stuff. But end of the day, when Boyd gets put back in traffic, it takes him longer to get back up to the front. Whether that's by choice or whether that's by chance, it is just a bit more of a struggle for Boyd Hogan to work his way up to the front. We could see that very much influence the end of this stage as he restarts P5.
Yeah, it looks like the saving the tires strategy didn't pay off as well as Boyd wanted to. Being back in the pack now, he's going to be restarting P5, I believe. Yes, P5. It's going to be a little bit to get through the field there. Just need to keep it clean, even though he's already locked in the championship for. Just try and keep it clean. You want to keep that winning streak alive and keep your momentum going into Phoenix.
Hogan restarts fifth. Shorba going to restart on the front row with David Santini. Clayton Hoffman, Brandon Davis, Vincent Arthur will restart outside of Boyd Hogan on that third row. Ready to go back to green. It'll be 78 laps to go here from virtual Martinsville, and possibly the last effort for Jacob Shorba to get into the championship 4. Green flag. Out and into the air. Shorba gets a good jump off of turn 4. How long can he hold this lead? David Santini gonna fight with Clayton Hoffman for P2. Remember now, with Shorba in the lead, that moves Hoffman back underneath the cut line and in P5.
Boyd Hogan down to 7th place. He's on the outside. He's got the 32 underneath him. That's Joseph McWhorter. He's making a run. He's trapped out there. Here comes the 51 of Ralph Hutchinson. They're trapping the fastest car on the field, the spookiest car on the field as well, because he was able to just drive away from him. He's got a lot of ground to make, but for Jacob Shorba, this is money. You could have the Jordan Game 7 moment buzzer beater against the Cleveland Cavaliers and walk off the field in greatness. Here comes the 12 of Clayton Hoffman. He's trying to make it a battle. He wants his playoff time to stay alive.
Hoffman is not done. He's underneath the cut line with Shorba, but he gets loose. Coming off of turn 4, back to turns 1 and 2. Here comes Clayton Hoffman on the back bumper of Shorba. What can he do as he gets down into turn 3? He takes a peek to the inside. Shorba brings the challenge from the defense. And as they go back across the line, 74 to go. Hoffman with a bit of a tap, but Shorba late breaking into 1. Hoffman takes a peek to the outside. Doesn't work for the 12. Falls back by a couple of feet. Now gonna have to make another run as they go into turn 3. To the inside for Clayton Hoffman. Side by side for a moment. They'll go side by side again off turn 4. Side by side across the line and back into turn 1. And Clayton Hoffman is going to take the lead back. Jacob Shorba in second. And Breyer, that could possibly be Jacob Shorba's championship hopes gone in one pass. He falls back to P7 in the points.
We got trouble.
Back above the cut line, but Arthur's around and the caution flag is going to refly.
That was boots to ass this time, boys, and I think he put it to him.
We had trouble coming out of there. Turn number 4. Get a replay here of it shortly. Looked like the 24 Vincent Arthur went around there. Joseph McWhorter by 1 to watch. See what happened here going down the back straightaway. Working our way through turn number 3. Lead Vincent Arthur slides up. McWhorter into the back of him. Big avoidance there.
Yeah, Boyd Hogan barely avoided that one, and just a little bit of contact between him. Oh my, look at Boyd Hogan. He was getting aggressive with, I believe, that was John Mullins who he got aggressive with there in the 64. And sent him up the racetrack, and there's the contact with McWhorter to Arthur, and he moves up the racetrack, able to get back on by. This puts McWhorter up into second, puts Hoffman in the lead. Jacob Shorba pits from staying out on that caution flag. David Santini pits as well. So does Brandon Davis and Logan Helton. As we continue with stage number 3, it's now the 3rd caution for an incident that we are seeing tonight. It'll be 70 laps to go here in stage number 3. We'll have Jacob Shorba to speak with now. Jacob, let's first start with that strategy from that last caution. Was it a Hail Mary pass trying to get into the championship 4?
Well, I just want to get myself out front, really. I was pretty torn on what to do there, and I think it worked out all right because we got some laps on those tires, and I got to come in now, so I'm sitting in about P8, and you just never know what's going to happen at this point. Maybe I can get a little farther up, but I have to do something different if I'm going to advance, you know, whether or not it's likely that's going to help me advance or not.
Speaking of doing something different, are you making any adjustments on the car in the pit lane, or are you keeping it relatively the same so far tonight?
I made one adjustment earlier. I went back on it, but this is just going to come down to me as a driver. There's no more excuses at this point. If I'm not going to get up in the first, then I don't deserve to be in the championship at Phoenix. So, car's good. I need to just do my part.
Thank you very much for joining us here, Jacob. Good luck remaining 69 laps of this race.
Appreciate it.
Great to hear from the 30th Jacob Shorba, and that will be our Capital Auto Group Pit Road Report. Based in Salem, Oregon, Capital Auto Group is a car dealer that will meet and exceed your high expectations each and every time. Their experienced sales staff is eager to share its knowledge and enthusiasm with you. You can browse inventory online, schedule a test drive, and investigate financing options at www.capitalauto.com. 68 laps to go in stage number 3. Joshua Lee here with you in the booth alongside Terry Radford and Briar LaPrat, our entire team behind the scenes. Ryan Bauer pushing all the buttons, Eric Messer, Cameron Auburn on social media tonight. Base car down and away and into the pit lane. Joseph McWhorter, Clayton Hoffman on the front row. Hoffman the control car. 67 to go in stage 3 as the green flag will refly. And it's a great start from Hoffman around the outside. Holds the race lead.
Has anybody paid attention to what the top two have done here? They saw Boyd Hogan in the P3 position. Leader took the outside lane. The bottom lane let him get back in. Joseph knew if he has to get a chance to race for a championship, he's going to have to hold Boyd off. The only way to do it is to get yourself in front of him. You don't want to give him the opportunity to follow the leader. 32 get hung out. They go single file now all the way through the field, all the way back to the 9th place position where they're side by side. You have a nice little battlefield between brothers.
The Davis brothers go side by side into turn 3. Car also running right behind him of David Santini. He goes to the outside. Vincent Arthur also in this fray. As the two podium cars, the Davis brothers stay side by side. Severa goes side by side with Arthur in Santini's mirror. They continue to go side by side in front of him. John Theodore's in this fight as well. Currently P7 on the racetrack for John Theodore. Santini now goes side by side with Stephen Davis in the 92. As they race off of turn number 2, back through 3 and 4. Helton still sits in the back. P13 currently has this entire group in front of him as we go on board with Vincent Arthur. Breyer looks like he's still struggling a little bit with that car being a little bit free off the edge of the corner, but we heard him earlier in this race not really talking too much about the car. Seems to be working okay for him so far.
Yeah, it seems to be like he's just focused on driving the racetrack here as he's behind Stephen Davis coming out of turn 4. A lot of wheel action going on there coming out of turn number 4. Again, ill-handling race car, not what you want to see if you're Vincent Arthur. He's trying to work Stephen Davis over here. Stephen looks a little tight, I would say, coming off turn 2. Not sure if he's just watching the track, but it looks like Vincent Arthur's going to dive underneath of him. Going to try and work him over here coming out of turn number 4.
To the inside, goes for that pass is Arthur. Trying to get by Stephen Davis in the number 92 issue for Ralph Hutchison. He's around again and up and into the fence. Caution flag is out with 61 to go. Hutchison gets turned around off the exit of turn number 1. Let's see, was this more contact? He has Matthew Long behind him. Oh no, he just got loose there, Briar. He just got way loose coming through the middle of that corner, and it was enough to spin him around.
He had trouble for the 51. I was talking to his crew chief a second ago. Logan Sheets said they had a problem with being on the splitter. They said they fixed it. Looks like it ended up costing him a little bit, just a little too loose. I would assume they tried to loosen it up on pit road. Around it went, just wheel hop probably, and get into the corner, and around it went. Again, off the wall though, less damage.
Well, he's back on the racetrack now, and doesn't look like a ton of damage for the 51 either, so it looks like he's going to be able to keep going, but he does look just a tad bit annoyed in the sim rig right now, Terry. I don't think anybody would be particularly happy about spinning out in turn 2.
His face is redder than a bottle of ketchup. He's mad, and rightfully so. I mean, he thought he was going to come into this race and he was going to be fast. You know, you put a lot of time in the sim, getting your setups right, doing everything that you can do to potentially race for this championship. Big story. Guy comes down pit road, the 30. Jacob Shorba, he's in third right now. The field is starting to flip around. Everybody's on different strategies. People are wanting to do something different. You got to think outside the box. You can't always think inside the bell like Taco Bell, but they're there. Joseph McWhorter leads this race. That's his only chance, his ticket to get into the championship. Everybody else, carefree. Let's just go out and trick or treat.
Well, we'll see what happens with the remainder of stage number 3. It's coming up right after this short break. You're watching the MSRA Premier Series elimination round of the round of 8 in the playoffs from virtual Martinsville on Podium Esports. Stick with us. Restarts right after this.
This is iRacing, the world's premier online.
Green flag right back in the air. 56 to go in stage number 3. We're racing again from virtual Martinsville. A dive to the inside for Joseph McWhorter. He's going to hold that top spot for now as the yellow flag is going to come back out. Clayton Hoffman is around in turns 1 and 2. More playoff drivers run into struggles here from Martinsville. And this time it's the 12 of Clayton Hoffman that gets spun around. Let's take a look at this replay here. Oh, it was an issue above him. And he gets contact with Matthew Longterry. A bunch happening there. It looked like Stephen Davis also getting involved in an incident with the driver behind him, Chris Severa.
Man, this is exactly why I love short tracks. Look at them. They come off the restart. Everybody's kind of bunched up. People don't want to do it. He comes up the racetrack just a tad bit, and it just sends him in the corner. And he stayed with it. The 12 started to back it down, checking up a little bit. The 28 of Long might not have realized that he was going to check up that much with the carnage being just a tad bit further out in front of him. But either way, good save by the 12. He's only 23 back. I'm just saying, my one to watch is looking pretty sporty.
And you can see now the race leader is Joseph McWhorter. Breyer, your Strunk PC one to watch. He runs up front and was able to get a really good restart off of that last caution to put him now back into the race lead. Do you think he can hold off Boyd Hogan if we get another long run? Of course, we're seeing a lot of cautions now, but if we see another long run in this race, Boyd Hogan, borderline unbeatable on long runs this season at any track we've been to.
I think Joseph McWhorter's got what it takes. I chose him for a reason. He needs everything to play out the way he needs it, and he's put himself in a great spot. I think he's got what it takes to hold Boyd off. Boyd has got a really good long run car, so we'll see how that works out in the end here, but I would assume Boyd here is going to take the strat of trying to save his stuff for the end here. Got about 50 to go here when we take the green. But McWhorter in a great spot right now.
Getting ready to go back to green here, and we'd like to remind you that FSM Customs is a proud sponsor of the MSRA Premier Series. FSM Customs offers custom button box builds for sim racers across different disciplines of racing. In addition to boxes, FSM also offers custom decals to customize your rig even more. Flip the switch on your sim rig and check out FSM Customs on Facebook. Getting ready to retake the green flag. It'll be 51 laps to go. We are completing 199 laps of 250 this time by. And we're ready to retake that green flag. Part of the flagman has it up and he waves it, and Joseph McWhorter with another good start. Is it enough to hold off Boyd Hogan? They go side by side through turns 1 and 2. And not able to get the drag race into turn number 3 is McWhorter. Here comes Hogan to the outside, but he's going to give way to McWhorter. No, he won't. Here comes the crossover. Hogan wants the inside, and that's exactly what he's going to take in turn one. But not done is McWhorter. He runs the outside line, trying to hold on to the race lead side by side into turn three.
Coming into three, you still see him side by side. You see Shorba, he's in the catbird seat. They make contact. He moves on to the lead and potentially getting there. Trying to do the crossover again. Here comes the 32. He can't make it. You talked about flipping your switch for your sim rig. Well, the flip has switched here. Under 50 laps to go. They have went to full-on aggressive mode. It's time to go. 32 has to make a move. Boyd Hogan still holds the lead. McWhorter focused. He is super focused like I am in a McDonald's drive-thru.
And you can see him just wanting to get that lead away. Hogan with a great run at the front. And Brian, we've seen him over the long run when he's out in front. He just races differently when he's out the front. We talked about it a little bit earlier on, but this is exactly what Boyd Hogan needs. He needs to be out in front. This is where he is the best. And even when he is back in the pack, we've seen it tonight, we've seen it before, he finds his way right back to the front.
Yeah, he looks like he's focused like Terry Radford in the McDonald's drive-thru, because that's a different type of focus there. Dominating this race so far. McWhorter still within reach. He might give him a little bumper here. I don't know. He's closing in for sure. We're on board here with Vincent Arthur. McWhorter loose coming off turn number 2. Saves it. What a save.
Very loose off the exit of that corner. That's going to set McWhorter down to fight for P3 with Vincent Arthur. They drag race down the front straightaway, side by side, into turn number 1 and 2 now. McWhorter going to fall back a little bit more on that inside line. He had a little bit of a nose in front of Vincent Arthur. He gets that nose in again as they continue to race through 3 and 4. Off the corner they go, and McWhorter not able to get enough. Arthur barely able to hold that spot. They're going to continue to go side by side. At some point, Terry, the inside or outside line will prevail, but we have drivers around as Matthew Long gets loose and slow on the back straightaway. Brandon Davis gets spun. No caution. We stay green, but the 91 is missing a hood cover now, Terry.
Man, he's going to need a new pair of Martin Sports shorts, or it depends. Either one, he's messed his britches. Look at that. This is the third incident we've seen with the 28. 91 gets into the pit or the garage wall right there. Man, that's tough. A nice little spot into a Kurt Busch throwback to Homestead, into the sand barriers, but exactly what Boyd Hogan wants to see. But actually maybe not, because Shorba has fresher tires. He's there. He's a half a second back. He might be able to put the old chrome horn to somebody.
Oh my, look at the run to the inside for David Santini in the 79. He blows by the 32 of Joseph McWhorter, put him up in a P4, but look at who is now running in P6, Briar. He is back. It is Logan Helton. I don't think we're expecting him to run this far up, but as I say that, he gets loose on the outside line, gets shoved up the racetrack by Clayton Hoffman. I'm not sure if that was contact. I think it might have been, but either way, Helton is running faster than he was at the beginning of this race. This did not help him. An aggressive move to the inside for Hoffman moved Helton up the racetrack.
And Helton was definitely thrown off by that move, but what a comeback by Helton so far. 39 to go. He might have been sandbagging and saving his speed there, trying to hide it away and show it at the end here and just come out of nowhere and steal it, but we'll see what Helton's got. He's going to need a couple yellows probably to get himself back into it and get track position as well. But again, great comeback from Helton so far. 38 to go here.
Inside 40 laps left here from virtual Martinsville. Couple of groups starting to develop, but field definitely starting to space its way out as Jacob Shorba tries to run down Boyd Hogan to lock himself into the championship 4. Is the only opportunity that Jacob Shorba will have this season to lock himself into the championship 4. Right now, the only thing that is separating him and a trip to Phoenix for the championship 4 now, Terry, is Boyd Hogan in front of him. And normally, we'd be saying, oh, Jacob Shorba has an opportunity to catch him if he keeps running consistent lap times, but it's Boyd Hogan out in front. even if you're running consistent lap times, you're going to need to shave another 2/10 off of those lap times to be anywhere close in the 96's radar.
Yeah, he's on a blimp on his own. He's doing exactly what he wants to be doing right now. He took command back of this race not too long ago on the restart there when we came back green. And for Shorba, he's on fresher tires. I mean, he pitted on lap 179 compared to 168. So theoretically, the oldest tires in the field's the leader right now, and he's putting on a smoke show for him. He's doing what he wanted to do. He's trick-or-treating all by himself in the rich neighborhood, and everybody else is over there in the neighborhood that's a little sketch, passing out different kinds of candy. As you see right here with the 12, he's in some traffic, but he's going to have to make his way up there. He's locked in on points unless the 30 gets around.
Off of turn number 2, Clayton Hoffman on board with him now. As he runs in P6, trying to chase down McWhorter, and he's got Santini in front of him, along with Vincent Arthur. Could have an opportunity to catch up, but at this point, doesn't look like he's going to have an opportunity to run up for the win, which is a bit heartbreaking for Hoffman Breyer, but believe now, looking at the live points, Hoffman would still be in, but only by points. He will not have that cushion of a win. And you can see now, if anybody underneath that cut line wins, Hoffman is gone from the championship 4. So he's still walking a bit on eggshells.
Yeah, definitely on eggshells for sure. Hoffman, he would probably enjoy having the momentum on his side, as we have, I believe, that was Clayton Hoffman making a move there on Joseph McWhorter by 1 to watch, hoping he would step it up here towards the end. I think if we get another yellow, he might be able to, but Hoffman showing some strength here, honestly, at the end of this race. He might be able to run down David Santini and Vincent Arthur and see if he can get around him, but momentum's going to be what you want heading into Phoenix, running for a championship, because, as McWhorter's around off of turn number 2, down the back, hard to the inside wall. Ooh, that's going to be a rough hit for him.
And the yellow flag flies again with 29 to go. This race is not over. But McWhorter with a spin, I believe that might be even worse for his playoff hopes. Let's see the replay on the back straightaway. It happened off of turn number 2 here, Terry. He's trying to chase down Clayton Hoffman. And it looks like, I don't think he got any contact with anybody. He just ended up losing that race car.
I mean, that's what it is. You're trying to keep the tires up. And Breyer, I'd ask you, when he comes off the exit of the corner, getting down too hard on the throttle, when you get on the loud pedal just a little too hard, coming from the concrete to the asphalt, it really upsets the back end of it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. When you're coming off the corners here at Martinsville, it's going to happen quick. If you get loose, it's going to snap around on you on an instant. As we got pit stops happening as Joseph McWhorter joins us here in the booth. What happened there off of turn number 2?
Just ran out of talent. About all it is. Just, I don't know, frustrated. But, I don't know, just ain't our night, I guess. We'll just do what we can here and try and get it. I mean, I don't know, just ran out of talent.
It happens, man. Running hard. It looks like you got a good short run car. Let's see if you can have a couple of yellows go your way and try and climb your way back through and maybe get up the point.
Yeah, maybe we'll see what happens. Got plenty of the race left.
Good luck out there.
So with McWhorter wrecking out there, it only moves him into 10th because we have had 15 drivers start this race. However, still going to see a bit of a change because now at the front, we have 4 drivers who stayed out. We had David Santini, we had Clayton Hoffman, we had Matthew Long, and we had Steven Davis stay out on the racetrack. Only 2 playoff drivers out of those 4 is Hoffman and Davis. Or sorry, it's only Hoffman. Steven Davis is the non-playoff brother of the Davises. So a lot of the playoff drivers here, Breyer, electing to get fresh tires and have some fresh Goodyears on the car on this restart as they go back green. Do you think that's a good strategy? Or do you think Hoffman might have an opportunity to steal a race win away?
We'll see as the green flag flies here. Back under green, David Santini with an amazing start there. Hoffman running P2, Stephen Davis running wide. 3 wide right now. We'll see how they handle it coming off the corner here. Clean so far. They made it through.
Able to hold on to the race lead is David Santini. Hoffman's got nothing for him yet. Watch for that purple and green, the purple and yellow machine of Boyd Hogan to work his way closer up to the top. Clayton, you're on board with the 12 of Clayton Hoffman, now on board the 96. Take a look at how close Boyd Hogan already is to the front spots. He sees the side-by-side moment in front of him. Jacob Shorba goes for it, but the caution flag flies. Matthew Long is around in turn 3, and things are going to change again on the racetrack.
We had big trouble there going into turn number 3. 28 here, I believe, got hooked by Vincent Arthur. There you go. Yeah, hard hit to the outside wall. That's going to be a lot of damage there for the 28 of Matthew Long. Weird little hook there. You never really see that at Martinsville. But sure, Vincent Arthur didn't mean that. Just a mistake on his end. Thought he was clear possibly, but he's going to shake things up towards the front. Jacob Shorba running P2 right now, so see how the end of this race is going to play out. It's been wild so far.
Of course, Matthew Long hasn't made too many starts this season, and unfortunately, this one is also going to end relatively sour for the driver out of Atlanta in the number 28. So this keeps David Santini at the front of the field for the moment, and we'll have an opportunity to speak with Vincent Arthur, who sits in P6. Terry Radford standing by with our in-race reporter.
Well, Vincent, you're fighting for your life right now. You're sitting here in the P6 position. You have an opportunity. You see the mayhem in front of you. How is it going to stack out with David, Jacob, and Clayton right ahead of Boyd?
I'm rooting for Jacob. I want him to win, and that'll get 2 GLM cars into the Final Four. But this is definitely going to be it's going to be something interesting to watch for sure. Hopefully we can get 1, 2, 3 for GLM. Hopefully shuffle Boyd back here, but I don't know. They've been seeming to lack a little speed short run, but have it long run. So we'll see if we can take advantage of our short to mid run speed and go win the race.
How aggressive do you get here? You're going to be under 20 laps to go. What's it going to take to get up there to get around some of these guys that have been some of the fastest people here tonight?
I mean, the aggression level is going to be high. I think, obviously, I just kind of showed that. I was trying to send it in on the outside and, just ran out of room. So I apologize to Matthew. That's completely my fault. But, I mean, I think that's just kind of showing where the aggression level is right now. We're all fighting for the win. These restarts are crazy. They're really good opportunity to pass some cars, especially with the whole tire difference that's going on right now. So we'll see how it goes. I mean, I expect there to be a couple more cautions because the aggression level is just going to keep getting higher here on out. So hopefully we can make smart, aggressive moves and get the full tilt Chevrolet up there.
Well, we love you, and best of luck the rest of the way.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate you.
Good to hear from our in-race reporter, Vincent Arthur. As we have 18 to go, we're restarting with 17 laps to go. We'd like to remind you that tonight's race is brought to you by Dirty Air 13. Visit twitch.tv/Dirty Air 13 to see Gary Sexton play iRacing, because you cannot see his in-car perspective of tonight's race because he is not competing in tonight's race. But you can see him compete in a variety amount of iRacing action over on twitch.tv/Dirty Air 13. 17 laps, and then we'll have the championship 4 decided. Let's go back to racing. Leading the way, it's David Santini. Clayton Hoffman still trying to fight on the outside. Remember, if David Santini wins this race, it doesn't do anything for the playoffs. But here comes Jacob Shorba. If he wins this race, he's locked into the championship 4, side by side for the race lead, and he's gonna take it. Shorba to the front as they come across the line.
The only thing that Shorba's hoping for is those two stay side by side, keep Boyd back there, the 79-32 side by side. If Boyd's going to get up to the P3 position, he'll get inside that machine, but it puts the pressure on Shorba and McWhorter. If the 32 can hold that 96 off this evening, we can see the 30. That Ford Mustang has been wonders this evening ever since he went off sequence, which is something I didn't think he was going to do, but he did it. Can we see a winner here tonight advance and take that 12 of Hoffman out of the playoffs?
4 top 5s for Shorba this year, 22 top 10s, looking for win number 1 here at Martinsville. He's got 14 laps to prove himself at the front of the field, trying to run away from Joseph McWhorter, who currently sits in second and is admittedly now holding up Boyd Hogan. Look at Vincent Arthur in the 24. How hard is the Great Lakes Motorsports number 24 going to race the 96? We heard from Vincent Arthur. He wants his Great Lakes Motorsports teammate and Jacob Shorba to get this win. How hard is he willing to race Boyd Hogan? And Breyer, what can Vincent Arthur now do to try and prevent Boyd Hogan from getting in front of the 30 from being behind him?
I'm not sure. We had trouble off turn number 2. There was no yellow, surprisingly. John Theodore went around. But it looks like Boyd's going to be looking to the inside of McWhorter. Does he make it happen? No, not quite. It's going to be tough for Boyd to get around here. He looks like he's making it happen. He's got a good run coming up turn number 4. See what he does going into turn number 1. McWhorter's going to cover it. Does he overdrive? No, he doesn't. He keeps it in line. Looking good. Shorba with a pretty good gap. If we got a slow car there, I believe that's Matthew Long on the inside. We're working 11 to go, coming to 10 laps to go.
10 to go at the line. McWhorter still holding up Boyd Hogan. This is giving Shorba an opportunity to try and run away, but he's not putting too much of a gap over second place. It's 5/10 back to Joseph McWhorter from Shorba. Hogan gets aggressive. He gets to the inside of McWhorter. He's side by side. Way up the racetrack goes McWhorter. That's going to move Vincent Arthur into P3. Now it's going to be Shorba versus Hogan. 1-on-1 with 9 laps to go, Terry. This could be a huge finish in terms of the championship 4. What can Hogan do? Can Shorba hold him off? But the caution flag is going to fly. Severa's around.
That right there just set up the finish. We've said it all night long as we look at the replay here. He goes into the corner. He's going to continuously go. You see what he's doing. He's just going to get loose as well. Intensity has ramped up. This is like Mike Tyson and Vander Holyfield. Jake Paul and whatever retired star he pulls out to get his clout. It's all it takes. Everybody has to come out here, and this is Shorba's moment. He has to be perfect, and he has to hope that Vincent Arthur, his teammate, mind you, is going to start right behind him. Can he get the restart? The mind games that Hogan's been playing on him, he's been lagging back, getting forward, staying with them perfect. This is going to be a knockdown, drag-out brawl for the win.
Breyer, I know specifically for you and your lockdown racing team, you guys are like a family. You race as teammates, and if you're in Shorba's position right now, what are you hoping for from Vincent Arthur's? We know Jacob Shorba's going to take that inside line. He needs his teammate behind him, but what are you expecting from Vincent Arthur on this restart to try and keep Boyd Hogan at bay and push Shorba to the front?
You're definitely going to want Vincent Arthur to race Boyd Hogan as hard as you can. Try and keep it close. You definitely want to, as the leader, since Shorba's got that advantage, you want to be able to get off to a great start and get a good enough gap because you're only going to have a handful of laps left. But again, Vincent Arthur needs to be able to race Boyd as hard as he can. Boyd needs to be on top of his game here on this restart to see if he can even hold it side by side with him and have a shot at winning again. This again for his winning streak and keeping momentum alive going into Phoenix.
And Terry, this is going to be a huge restart because this is coming to the end of this race, and Shorba has a opportunity at the championship on the line here. If he does not win this race, he does not compete for the championship at Phoenix. This is huge for Shorba. This is the moment that he wanted. Those nerves are probably through the roof for the 30 car right now.
Was in the 30 car, I'm playing Kenny Rogers, the gambler, because you got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them, and know when to walk away when the day's done. He could come off with the riding into the sunset moment. You're beating the man on a 5-win streak. He's the hot streak in Vegas right now. You could be the upset. He betted red, you betted black. It's going to land on black if the 30 can keep his momentum.
It will be 3 laps to settle it. That sounds a lot better than the 18 laps we had previously for Shorba to try and get around. And we are looking at 1 to go from the iRacing pace car. And we're looking at grabbing the green flag this time by 3 laps to go. 3 laps for Shorba to hold the lead. 3 laps before we find out if Shorba is going to race in the championship 4 or if Clayton Hoffman is going to steal that spot. 2 Great Lakes Motorsports drivers on the inside. Shorba pushes Hogan up the track, trying to get the best start on this restart. 3 to go. Can he clear Boyd Hogan? He can't do it just yet. 3 laps to go as they dive through 1. Can Shorba clear the 96? That's all he's trying to do off turn 2. Hogan still has an opportunity to take it. Side by side as they race into 3. Shorba's gonna get aggressive. He goes up, gets the door to the 96, giving him no room off of turn 4. 2 laps to go as they go back to turn 1. Shorba trying all he can on the inside. They're wrecking. Arthur's around. Shorba's around as well. And the yellow flag is back out. We're going to overtime from Martinsville.
Holy expletive. It is a PG show. What in the mess just happened? Everybody goes around. Boyd Hogan sneaks through with the lead, and it's just aggression. And aggression didn't pay off, but the 32, Joseph and Hoffman, can be the aggressors on the restart.
What happened here on board with Shorba? Hogan on the outside. Here comes Vincent Arthur. Oh, we got a tap from McWhorter as well, Breyer. That might have sent him as well into the 30.
Yeah, crazy sequence of events there. Definitely something you didn't expect, but I think that was a Great Lakes Motorsports disaster right there. It's the last thing you wanted to see for them. Crazy how they were running up front, and now they're running, I believe, 11th and 3rd right now. I think Vincent Arthur's being scored. Not sure where he's being scored at. But crazy turn of events there towards the end of this race, and overtime it is.
We'll be seeing overtime once again. And look who is now in 2nd place. Joseph McWhorter might have an opportunity to win this race. Clayton Hoffman looks like he's going to be restarting P3. He's going to have an opportunity to try and win this race. It is not all over for the drivers in the playoffs. Remember, McWhorter, he's in a must-win situation. Hoffman is technically in on points, but if McWhorter wins this race, that will put Hoffman out of the championship 4. If Hogan wins, McWhorter's out, Hoffman is in. Logan Helton is in P5. He could have an opportunity here as well, Terry. Everything is coming down to overtime.
My goodness, this is a barn burner. We thought it was going to be a snooze fest from the start. Hogan walked away stage 1, walked away stage 2. Nobody made any attempts to get past him, but the strategy game started to play out just a little bit. The line started to move, the aggression picked up, and that's what Martinsville is about. It might be about hot dogs and a beautiful scenic view of Martinsville, Virginia, but right now, all the pressure's on the line for the 32, for the 12. If the 32 gets door-to-door in turn 1 prior, that could be ridiculously awesome. If he can put the door to him, get him on the curb, we could see melee at the front like Talladega and Daytona.
Yeah, it's going to be a crazy little shootout here. Like Josh said, McWhorter wins, Hoffman would be out, and I believe I just heard a pop. I think someone blew up. I don't know exactly who it is. Vincent Arthur, I believe. It's rolling down pit road. Coming to the green here, though. I think a boot, scoot, and boogie might happen here with McWhorter, if I had to guess.
McWhorter will restart P2. Hoffman restarts P3. Hoffman's going to be in row 2 behind Boyd Hogan. McWhorter on the outside above Boyd Hogan. What can Logan Helton do from P5? Is he going to try and go for this race win? Here we go. 2 to go. First overtime restart from Martinsville. Who is going to walk away with the victory? Hogan's on the gas. McWhorter on the outside. Going to try and cross over to the inside. Can he get in front of Hoffman in time? Yes, he can. Now the big question is, does McWhorter have enough? Can he get by Boyd Hogan? They race down the back straightaway. The yellow flag comes back out. We're going to rack him up again in another overtime restart.
Well, you quoted a great country song by Brooks and Dunn. I'll match you with the Travis Tritt. I smell Trouble. Second attempt. Green, white checkered here. And Santini jumps up to the 4th place position. Ralph Hutchinson was the recipient of this caution flag. It's going to be chaotic.
Briar, we talked about what Logan Elton was willing to do. I think we just discovered what Logan Elton was willing to do. He went down to the inside of the 51, and the slightest bit of contact sent Hutchinson around in turn 2.
Yeah, Ralph Hutchinson's been on the short end of the stick this entire race. Not a good time for him. Elton doing everything he can to try and fight back and get what he can get, because obviously he's racing for his championship hopes here. But I'm sure if he won, Ralph would keep that in the back of his mind.
This is our 2nd attempt out of 3 at overtime tonight. And we'll grab Vincent Arthur here for just a moment. Vincent, a lot of things happened on that restart. What are your thoughts on all of them?
Just Joseph McWhorter doesn't know how to drive. Blames other people for his own mistakes. And can't be man enough to admit it. So, I left half car length, and he knew what he was doing. He's mad at me for bumping around him earlier, even though the only reason I did that is because he wrecked me first. So, cost my teammate a chance at the win and a trip to the championship 4. I expect better at this level. Man's been a wrecking ball for the past 4 weeks. And it's always somebody else's fault. So just frustrating because that incident blew up our motor. We had a really fast car, and I think we were going to get, if not top 3, solid top 5. So can't thank my guys at Triad Alliance, ERG, GLM, Crixus. Can't thank those guys enough. Can't thank Jeff Barnes. He did a wonderful job working with me this week. Can't thank him enough. Cannot thank Jacob Shorba and Shorba's Racing Graphics for putting this beautiful ovarian cancer awareness scheme together. So we just wanted to turn the momentum around before Phoenix, but we'll do all we can next week and go race for a championship.
We'll see you in Phoenix in 1 week's time, Vincent. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, guys.
Ready to go for the 2nd overtime restart of the night. Hogan in the lead, McWhorter in 2nd. How aggressive is Clayton Hoffman going to get, and how aggressive is McWhorter going to get here as we get ready to go back to racing? And will this be the final restart of the night? We thought the last one would be the last one, and now we're racking them up again for the 2nd attempt at an overtime restart. 2 to go at the line. 2nd attempt to make a successful overtime finish. Hogan in control of the field. McWhorter on the outside. Let's go back to racing. Boyd Hogan with a great start. Can McWhorter get down to the inside? He does the exact same thing he did on that first overtime restart. Will we see any yellow flags? They race down the back straightaway. When they get to the start-finish line, the race is declared official. Across the line, white flag is waved. 1 to go, sponsored by Canterbury RV. This race is indeed official. And coming through turns 1 and 2, he'll be very quickly into turns 3 and 4. Going for win number 17 and going for 6 wins in a row. He sweeps the round of 12 and the round of 8. Boyd Hogan wins at Martinsville.
And what an impressive streak he's on. I tell you, I'm taking him to Vegas. Bring him all the way down from Canada. Like, only Canadian driver in the field, and he's putting on an absolute snowstorm for these boys. Bringing it on down here to Martinsville. He's won on every track possible that you could throw at him in this series. The man's just a big, hairy Canadian winning machine.
An amazing win for Boyd Hogan. 6 in a row now. And this winning moment is presented by Canterbury RV. For more than 30 years, Canterbury has been building high-quality havens that blend the simple life with the good life. And now we're taking our experience to the next level, offering folks the chance to outfit their RVs where the possibilities are as boundless as the great outdoors itself. See your Canterbury dealer for more information. Boyd Hogan burns it down in virtual Martinsville. We've got post-race interviews coming up next on Podium Esports, so don't go anywhere. We've got beef, and we've got the story on it coming up next. A wild night from virtual Martinsville ends in beef. But first, we got to take a look at the full race results. Boyd Hogan takes the win. Joseph McWhorter comes home second place, and he will not fight for a championship in Phoenix. Clayton Hoffman takes the fourth and final spot along with Boyd Hogan in third place. Logan Helton so close to getting that win that he needed to advance, but he ends up P4. David Santini in P5 with John Theodore P6. Brandon Davis, Ralph Hutchison, Jacob Shorba, and Steven Davis, the top 10. We only had 15 drivers start this race. It's Vincent Arthur, Matthew Long, Chris Severa, John Mullins, and Ryan Strunk rounding out the full field. Boyd Hogan, Clayton Hoffman, Vincent Arthur, and Ralph Hutchison will compete for a championship in Phoenix, and we have your race winner up here with us now. Boyd Hogan. Boyd, it is 6 in a row for you. I know we sound like a broken record, but how does this one feel now that you are officially 6 races in a row grabbing the win? You blew your previous win record of 4 in a row out of the water.
Yeah, I mean, I hope we can get one more. It's really all I've been worried about. Obviously, most of the postseason with the playoff point gap that we had kind of coming in, it was a pretty sure thing. I think even if we didn't win every round and clinch our way through, but ultimately, you know, we want Phoenix.
And going into Phoenix, how good is the operation at Phoenix with this team? And are you going in a little bit worried, or are you going in with the same confidence you've had in the last 6 rounds of that we are the car to beat?
No, I mean, it's, you know, first of all, I have a tremendous amount of respect for everybody that's going in there with a shot in the first place. It's been a really good season. That's why I love racing this league in general. It's usually pretty clean and green, and you know, there's some good competition in here, and so, you know, they're gonna bring their best at Phoenix, and I know they're gonna bring their best, but if we bring our best, we'll keep doing what we're doing and get the second one in a row. Obviously this one means a little bit more. Midway through the year there, when we lost my grandma, I wasn't sure if I was gonna keep running it. She was the only person who, you know, or she was the main person who wanted me to keep doing it, because honestly, I like building the cars more than I like racing them. But, you know, so got to go win this one for her. We've already worked on the Phoenix car a little bit. His name is Jennifer, in honor, and we're gonna go get that one too.
We'll see you in 1 week's time from Phoenix, Boyd. Thank you for your time here on Podium Esports, and congratulations, 6 wins in a row, 17 total on the season. But we'll see you go for 18 in 1 week's time. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, sir. That's the plan. I also got to shout out everybody on Legacy. Chris Pfeffer for putting in all the laps he did to get this car dialed. It was a badass ride, as you guys saw. Champion, Blaster, AC Avalanche, Reaper Speed Lab, Curb Records, BSM, Blackstone Management, everybody there. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much for joining us once again. That is Boyd Hogan in the 96, your winner tonight from virtual Martinsville. And we continue the post-race show by speaking with second place Joseph McWhorter. He'll be standing by with Terry Radford.
Joseph, you were oh so close to getting yourself into position to win this race. What ultimately took you out of it? Did you have an opportunity to put yourself right on the back bumper of Boyd Hogan, and would you have wrecked him if you got there?
I mean, I don't want to wreck anybody. I mean, I got into the back of Vincent. I mean, he left a little bit of a gap, tried to go for it because it's, you know, 2 to go. I mean, I don't know. You never want to wreck the boss. I mean, you really never want to wreck anybody, but, you know, it is what it is. I mean, we had a really fast car tonight. We've had a really fast car this entire set of playoffs, and last 2 weeks I just haven't been on my game, and I think that showed the last 2 weeks. You know, we for a lack of better terms fucked up at Texas, and then did the same thing at Kansas after driving through the field 3 damn times. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I was gonna try and maybe just move him. I wasn't gonna wreck him. I mean, I don't ever want to wreck anybody. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to do different. I mean, the engine, I don't know if the engine was hurt, because after we had that spin, I had nose damage, and when we had that like 8-lap run and I restarted like in behind Boyd and Clayton and all them, I started to overheat. And then whenever I was chasing Jacob down, I started to overheat again. Had to back out of it, or else the engine was going to explode. And just did everything I could. I mean, I don't know. I mean, Boyd's given me everything that I could ask for with Reaper, and I just came up short. I don't know. I don't know what to do different.
Let's talk about the beef, because you talked about getting into Arthur right there. He was pretty pissed off. I mean, extremely pissed off, like fighting you behind the trailer mad. What do you have to do to rebuild that? If there's anything going into, he's racing for the championship at Phoenix, do you race him different compared to know that he's pissed off at you? And as you said, you have fucked up this whole round. Now how do you capitalize it to put it on to yourself, to put pressure on you at Phoenix?
I mean, that's a really good question. I mean, there's not really anything I can do any different. I mean, I've already done what I can do. As for building anything back with Vincent, I mean, I don't know. I can talk to him about it, but I'm sure he's you know, pretty set on his ways. I mean, hell, he's moved me several times this season and wrecked me, so I mean, it is what it is. I mean, sometimes you're the giver and sometimes you're the taker, I guess. I mean, I'm not going to race him any different than I have all season. There's no point to race him any different, so I guess I'll put that ballpark and I'll put that in his ballpark, and whether he wants to do something to retaliate next week, it'll be up to him. He's got a lot bigger fish to fry next week than little old me. Next week, I'm just going out to try and win Phoenix, which is my favorite track that we run all season. So, there's not really anything I can do. I'm sure he's probably not going to take anything I say.
Hey, the pride of Atlanta, Georgia is you, and I do live down here in Georgia myself. It's kind of fantastic. You talked about going into Phoenix as such a great place for you. Can you see yourself making one position higher? You could finish first. You finished second this week at Martinsville, and there's kind of some similarities there in a couple of the corners that would position you to say that you're going to have a good run there.
I think what you need to do is go back and look at the performance that came out of Richmond. I think those tracks are a lot the same, and that's how we locked ourselves into the round of 12. I think as long as we bring a good piece, I know we'll have the speed to go out there and take it to them. And still keep conscious that they're running for a championship. But I'm going to go out and run for a win, and playoff be damned, I'm going to try and win that race. That's just all I can do. That's all we can do at the end. We're out of it now, so we're just going to go win that damn thing.
Well, Joseph, best of luck. Congratulations on your P2 finish and going into Phoenix. Go give them hell, my man.
Oh, I plan on it.
Good luck, brother.
Thank you. Yeah, guys, have a good night.
Great to hear from the 32 of Joseph McWhorter. Second place finish for him tonight, but now standing by with Briar LaPrade, the driver who finished third and taking the final spot in the championship 4. It's Clayton Hoffman.
Clayton Hoffman brought a strong piece, it looked like. It stayed out of the beef, and I'll try and keep it more PG here on the PG show, but looked pretty good for most of that race. You've locked yourself into the championship 4 there. Like I said, stayed out of the beef. How'd the car feel out there?
It was a really good short run. Long run, we were just losing the rears, so I just didn't have the drive off that Boyd had. And it was probably second fastest car, third fastest car there. It just wasn't quite fast enough to go for the win. That last stage, I just made a bad strategy error that put myself pretty far back, and I just ended up on older tires.
Absolutely. McWhorter said that Richmond and Phoenix are two similar types of tracks. Do you look at it the same way, and what kind of preparation do you plan on putting in for this final race here?
Yeah, they're pretty similar. They're not completely the same. What is it now? Turns 1 and 2, or on the new configuration, are very different from Richmond, so it takes a little bit of different type of preparation for the setup. I've already worked on it pretty good, so I got a good starting place. I'll try to work on as much as I can, be as competitive as I can for next week.
Absolutely. Congratulations again on making the championship 4. You have anyone to thank?
Yeah, just thank the team G&G. Thank Chris Severa, Brian Johnson, Chris Johnson, Kenny Powell, all the other guys over there. Yeah, it's been a pretty good season. We made it to the championship 4. I'm pretty stoked, but now it's all or nothing. It's one race.
Absolutely. Like you said, all or nothing. Again, congratulations on making it, and good luck next week.
Thank you.
Continuing on in the post-race show, past the top 3, it was so close but so far for the 30 of Jacob Shorba. He ends up short of the cut line. He's joining us now. Jacob, so close. You led for a good bit there towards the end, had an opportunity to walk away with it, and contact from behind took you out of it. What are your thoughts on the incident that happened there in turns 1 and 2?
Well, you've got a guy who caused it, but he always plays victim every week, it feels like, and he just, I don't know. I really wonder sometimes if he has respect for his competition or not, just how I feel. I know that's not all completely correct, but it sucks to put yourself in that situation, do everything, and have a miracle night going together and just have it ended because someone didn't really care.
And of course, you showed speed late in the race and throughout the race as well. You were running up in that close to that top 5 pretty much all night. You racing through the race, did you feel confident that you could hold off Boyd Hogan and all the charges from behind you if you were able to keep the lead there late in the race?
Well, early in the race, I didn't feel like it was going to happen because we just had so many green flag runs. I know I was off pace. At the end, when the tire strategy got interesting and I was side by side with them, I knew that if I could just get around cars faster, I could get out there. And I did. I got ahead of him. We had a restart. I got by Clayton. I got by David. I had a big lead. I feel like I could have held that. It would have been close, but I feel like I did what I needed to. But at the end, the restart didn't go well. It looks like he led me a little bit. I'm not going to read into that too much. He's a hell of a driver, and he absolutely could have just, he probably would have straight up beat me. He's a better driver. I'm not going to lie about that. So.
Going into Phoenix, obviously no pressure for you, not running for a championship, but skipping over that, let's go to next season. Of course, this season you weren't able to walk away with that win, but still a really good running this season for you. 4 top 5s, 23 top 10s. Can you keep that up and go into next year, try and walk away with that first win?
Well, it depends on how much time I get each week. We want to have a better field here. We want to have more cars throughout the whole year. So that makes it harder. That's the reality of it. I feel confident going into it, but, there's only so many times you can, tell yourself, man, you were so close. You're going to get it next time. This is motivation. The last time I ran this series, came up 1 lap short of it. In the final race of the year, and then tonight just coming up just short of making Phoenix and a miracle. So I feel great about it. I'm excited. I know our team's going to do great things next year, and I just I can't tell you how much it'll mean to me if I can get a win here. I know how good these guys are. Even if you got 15 cars out there tonight, it doesn't mean you're not going to earn it. You're going against some of the best drivers on here, and I encourage anyone who wants to race trucks, next gen, Xfinity. If you want to be challenged, then this is the league for you.
And where can people join? Of course, you're one of the league organizers for MSRA, so where can people go to join on and race the trucks, race the Xfinity cars, race the next gen cars next year in the Premier Series?
Well, I'll put a link in the broadcast chat, but otherwise you can check out the Midwest Sim Racing Association Facebook page and we'll get in contact with you. We try to be quick about that and try to do things professionally and organized. So.
Well, thank you very much for your time here in the post-race, Jacob, and congratulations on a great season. Unfortunately, not making the championship 4, but we hope to see you make a run for the win at Phoenix.
It's all right. Go GLM.
Great to hear from Jacob Shorba in the 30, and going from one driver who missed out on the championship 4 to another driver who unfortunately missed out on the championship 4. It's the 63 of Logan Helton, who's with Terry Radford.
Man, Logan, you drove the wheels off of that thing. Lap down, 2 laps down. I thought you were dead to rights. What do I know? I'm just a broadcaster. You come up here to a 4th place position. It was a good ride. How did you do it?
Well, first I gotta give a huge shout out to my friend and teammate at Nexus Esports, Patrick. He just helped me so much tonight. He gave me the right adjustments, helped me with the setup. I came into this race knowing it was going to be an uphill battle. I knew Boyd was going to have killer setup like always, and I knew Clayton was going to be a factor, and I knew Ralph was going to be a factor. I knew I wasn't going to win the race off of raw speed, and I knew the one thing I had to focus on was just saving my car for the end and trying to get off sequence so something could happen at the end. And thankfully that something did happen at the end, but I think it just happened a little bit too late. And I'm pretty happy with the way the race ran. Obviously we were slow at the beginning. The setup we made was really fast, but something with the track state I think changed, and we were just left a little confused because we didn't know what was going on. So we just worked on the car the entire race, and it got better towards the end. And I think I'm happy with the 4th place based on how that race went, with us going 2 laps down at one point.
All right, well, I got one question before you get your shout-outs out there. For the people who are upset coming out of Martinsville, what's words of encouragement from Logan Helton, the pride of Milton, Florida, to them who have a lot of beef?
I'd say if you're really, really upset, probably go get some ice cream, because ice cream always makes me feel more happy. And I'd also say probably go run some. No, I can't say that. I can't say super speedways. That's controversial. I don't know. I enjoy speedways, so I'm probably going to go run some super speedways sometime next week. But we got one more race, and I'm excited to see what we got. I'm gonna go for a win there, but I'm definitely not going to do anything crazy to get in the way of the championship 4 guys. They deserve it. Clayton definitely deserves it. He's been running well all season, and he just has gotten faster than me this last part of the season, and I've been slacking. So congrats to him. Ralph, sorry to Ralph for whatever happened. I don't know if it was a weird thing that happened between us, like whatever, internet, but yeah, good luck to. Okay, yeah. So yeah, it was netcode, I think. I think who else was it? So it's Boyd, Clayton, Ralph, and Vincent, I think. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, yeah. So good luck to all 4 of them. I hope they all have a good race. Hope none of them get wrecked. But yeah, good luck to all of them.
Well, my final words of advice is stop slacking, get to crack-a-lacking at Phoenix. Best of luck, Logan Helton. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you guys for broadcasting.
Great to hear once again from the 63 of Logan Helton. And guys, what a race. I mean, we started out caution-free through the first 2 stages. We went into stage 3. It was a little bit of carnage there, but then we...
Double!
We went into stage number 3, a lot of cautions, but then we had 2 attempts in an overtime. We don't have Breyer on cameras, we have 2 Terrys. So we'll go to Terry first, and Terry, great end to that race with all the overtimes that we saw. And there's Breyer. We have Breyer on the prep back. Hello, he's back with us. But Terry, with those overtime restarts, it just brought the energy up, and we didn't know who was going to win there for a little bit of time.
Well, that was double ad placement for Martin Sports and the amazing shirt they provided me. I'm all decked out in their gear, shorts, shirt, not the hat though. That's Tennessee Athletics Department. But amazing show. We expected nothing less from the Martinsville Speedway. This is such a historic racetrack, from just the scenic routes, the oldest track in NASCAR that we come to. It's been the first one we ever raced on, and it's been on the schedule ever since NASCAR has started. So to see them come out here and add to the fame legacy, especially in the virtual world, was just massive. Congratulations to the 4 that moved on. Next week's going to be massive at Phoenix. Tempers are hot like the desert.
And Breyer, speaking of those championship 4, Boyd Hogan, Ralph Hutchison, Vincent Arthur, and Clayton Hoffman. The pressure is off for a lot of drivers going into Phoenix. They're just going to get a good result, but those championship 4 are in for a lot of anxiety and a lot of pressure over the next week. How are they going to be handling it as they go into Phoenix, of the biggest race of the season, where we're going to crown an MSRA Premier Series champion?
I'm sure most of them are going to be stressed. I'm sure Boyd's going to be relaxed just as usual. He's been dominant all season. He knows how to get it done. Ralph Hutchison, I'm sure he knows how to get it done. I'm sure they all know how to get it done. Just going to be a lot of stress on them. Just make sure they bring a nice piece. Just running the smooth race next week. It's going to be a new configuration. Not really configuration, but new scan on the iRacing service. And we'll see what they can bring, and I'm sure next week's going to be exciting.
We'll tune in 1 week from now, and you can see which of the Championship 4 walks away the 2021 Midwest Sim Racing Association Premier Series champion. A lot of upcoming events on Podium Esports over the next week. It is a very busy week for us here at Podium. Starting tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, with PCA Sim Racing, the Team Racing Series from Suzuka. You can catch all that action on youtube.com/PCA Sim Racing. Then at 9:15 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow, Sim Max Cup Series powered by MPI. And you can view all the action on twitch.tv/podium esports when they go racing at the Richmond Raceway. Monday Night Racing Road to Glory goes racing in the Xfinity Series cars at Daytona, the precursor to the Monday Night Racing Pro Series. We start all the action 7 p.m. Eastern Time with the Road to Glory on twitch.tv/podium esports. It'll be over on main podium, not podium 2. Then Monday Night Racing Pro Series will get started around 8:10 p.m. Eastern Time. That's over on twitch.tv/iRacing. Then the first round of the eNASCAR Contender iRacing Series from the new Phoenix Raceway, November 2nd. That's Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, twitch.tv/iRacing. See our own Brian LaPrade be competing there, trying to get a spot in the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series. Then in 1 week's time, the MSRA Premier Series Championship from the virtual Phoenix Raceway. Same time, same place, 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Podium 2, the Podium YouTube channel, and the Podium Esports Twitter page. And drop us a follow as well at Podium Esports, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and give us a subscribe. Click the notification bell as well over on YouTube to be notified anytime we go live on our YouTube channel. For Jacob Shorba and everyone at the Midwest Sim Racing Association, for James Pike, Cisco Scaramuza, Gary Sexton, and John Theodore at Podium Esports, and for tonight's team, our producer Ryan Bauer, cameras by Dougie Beard, Eric Messer, and Cameron Alberdon on social media, and for my colleagues in the booth, Brian LaPrade and Terry Radford, my name is Joshua Lee. Thank you so much for watching tonight's broadcast, and we hope to see you in 1 week's time for the championship finale of the MSRA Premier Series.